see if this works now, Joan. Having some problems here. Sorry about the problems. Running late. Running very late. But I have an excellent connection now. Let's see if the sound's on. Sorry about that. Okay, there we go. Don't know what happened there, but we're live. I just have to... let me check. Check to make sure we're live on my channel. I think I'm live. Yeah, there I am. Okay. All live. Okay. We are live. Now I got to tell everybody that I am live. You know what I should do? So I should have gotten the link. That would be convenient for people. Okay. I'll go over here. Sorry everybody. Running very late. Just came back from dinner. But I do have things to share. Hot take lock. Okay. Indy Phantom is here. Hey, Indy Phantom. How you doing? Stream died on me. Twisters was an S-storm and much better off with any Sharknado flick. Really? Kite is also here. Good evening. Anti-woke maniacs. Oh, we got lots to talk about today. Oh, we got lots to talk about. Sorry I'm late. I literally just came from family dinner. Was caught up in a bad storm on the drive back. And so I had to kind of slow down in the traffic. My girlfriend I had to drive her home. But I just made it pretty close to the time. So I was pretty happy with that. But today, we went out shooting at a gun range in the Pines. So I can show you my target. I don't know if you can see on the little camera there. I did pretty good. This was a 22 using the rifle, just plinking around. And then really, where I really excelled was on this target. See, because this target you could really see where I hit the ram, and I killed both of them. I think it's pretty much I killed them both. So, Kite, honestly, that speech made me feel like an American. Indy Phantom, don't buy the Twisters hype. Another girl boss too, just dumb. Not Kamala dumb, but still. Oh, wow. Yeah, we got lots to talk about today. I don't even know what to start about first, quite frankly. Yeah, in terms of Twisters, it's getting a lot of good press. I know you're saying don't believe the hype, but here you're telling me it's a girl boss thing. You know what it kind of is, I think? You know, they say in the world of politics, the Overton window was pushed, right? And what that means is, like, there's this window of acceptable political discourse in the world. Indy Phantom. Only got to shoot a rifle once. Would love to fire a handgun someday. The other thing we shot 22s, but he also, my girlfriend's friend had a 44 Magnum, and I got to shoot that. That was really tough to shoot because I wasn't used to the throwback it gives you. You can't really hold it with one hand and expect to hit anything because it might fly out of your hand unless you really grip it tight. So you really need two hands on the Magnum, and that made it really hard to shoot. So I was just missing everything. But with the rifle, I did pretty good, and the handgun, I did okay. But man, the friggin' Magnum, I felt like I was right on top of the target, and I was just missing it. Like they had these metal plates you shoot, and I first shot off a couple of them, and I hit two right off the bat, and I thought, oh, I'm on my way. But then after that, man, forget it. I unloaded God, he let me shoot. He had a belt of bullets, like a holster, and you know the bullets in a holster. He let me shoot the whole amount of them. I was like, I felt bad. I thought bullets were expensive, but he said, "Nah, go ahead and shoot them." I was having a great time, but I was missing. Oh man, I was missing so many. Indie Phantom. There was a kind of love triangle too, which turned me off. Getting back to Twisters. Not even anything as fun as the flying cow this time. Yeah, that's weird. That sucks. The thing I heard about Twisters was that it wasn't woke, and that you know, it's getting back to the basics of movies. I will say this though, at least there was a love triangle, which if that's any indication, at least it sort of made some sense. Like that's sort of more standard Hollywood, so maybe they drifted back. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying about the Overton window, right? So there's this acceptable level of discourse in the United States, and that was pulled left. This is my left. It was pulled very far left, right? And what happened when you pull the Overton window left, it means everything on the right really became more centrist than anything else. And anything to the right of being centrist, well, that was just crazy, crazy town, right? I think the same thing kind of happened with movies. They pulled the Overton window in the world of movies in terms of the, you know, all the woke stuff. They pulled it so far left that even just sort of going back to the middle feels like it's, oh, this is a super traditional movie. Oh, you mean there's a love story between a man and a woman? Whoa, that's crazy. It's so traditional. I haven't seen that in a while. Um, so maybe it's something akin to that. Like Twisters really isn't like based as much as it is just not super super leftist. So I don't know. I haven't seen it. It's a kind of movie I kind of wouldn't see normally. Maybe I'd see it like on a date. I'd probably go like, that sounds like the kind of movie I could take my girlfriend to, and she'd like it, and I'd sort of tolerate it. But although she watched Bone Tomahawk with me, which I got to give her credit for, she couldn't watch some of the scenes, and quite frankly, I don't blame her, because Bone Tomahawk is one of the most gross westerns I've ever seen. Holy F! The scene with the guy getting cut by the bone tomahawk, and if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Wow, just wow. That was messed up, and quite an effect. But yeah, I mean, and then I talked a little bit in one of my other videos about writing a movie about storm chasers, and it's kind of like become like its own little subgenre almost. It's sort of a disaster movie, but it's sort of a very specific disaster movie. It's combined almost with, I don't know what you would call it. You would have to call it like a disaster movie combined with like a sport almost. This idea that you chase storms for some reason and get a bunch of data. Indie Phantom. First one had Bill Paxton, who's very good, yeah. And he was sorely missed. You could be right, but the first one was not great. Yeah, no, I didn't really like the first one either. I did like Bill Paxton. And I did like that Glenn Powell, in an article, like, sort of acknowledged Bill Paxton and said some nice things about him. He was sort of like, you know, at least acknowledging the previous movie, unlike so many other celebrities today that poo-poo the past and you know, take a dump on it and then expect us to go see their new movie. You know, like Rachel Zegler talking about Snow White, rather than saying something like, oh, I really think our movie you know, adds to the great traditions in Disney. She had to poo-poo how dated the old movie was, and you know, really sort of burn the bridge. But yeah, I mean, I didn't really like the first Twisters. I thought the whole cow scene was stupid and weird, like, you know. But Helen Hunt was in that one too, I think. Boy, they couldn't put Helen Hunt in a movie now. She's had a lot of work, I think, and not good work. Looks like it went wrong for her. Every once in a while, somebody goes in for that cosmetic surgery and does not come out looking better. And I would say Melanie Griffith was in that too. as far as I recall, it doesn't reference the first movie at all. It probably doesn't. Um, let's see. Let me do it. You want to see Helen Hunt? She looks odd to me. Let's see. Last time I checked. Well, actually, these pictures, she don't look bad. But, yeah, she don't look bad now. I don't know. I saw one picture of her. She looked really weird. Maybe it was this one. Yeah. See, that one she doesn't look good in right there. See, here's her and Bill Paxton from back in the day. Twister. JEC is here. Hi, hi, hi. JEC, down goes Biden. Ah, well, now I know what we're going to be talking about. Yeah, Joe Biden, for those of you who don't know. Indie Phantom. Twister was a masterclass compared to this. It also had Carrie Elwes and Philip Seymour Hoffman? It did? I don't remember. I remember. Do I remember Philip Seymour Hoffman in it? I guess he was in it. He was probably like a guy in a baseball cap who knew some of the science. Carrie Elwes. Indie Phantom. Never thought Helen Hunt looked good, really. No, but I mean, she was kind of okay. You know, she was like girl next door back in the day, but then, you know, got older. Yeah, see, she doesn't look the same. She looks. See, this here's a really young picture of her, and then this is her later, and there's another Twister scene. So. Yeah, see, like, here's a good picture of her from back in the day. 1983. She's a cutie back then. Yeah, I mean, as far as Biden goes, and I knew I was wondering how long it would take for us to slip into that conversation. JC, isn't that Philip Seymour Hoffman right there in the middle of the pic with the truck? Let me see. Let me go back. Let's see. This one? I think that's Bill Paxton again. Or maybe this one. That doesn't look like him either. No, I think that's the director. Because he's older. Let's see. Let's do... Oh, the yellow truck? Yeah, this one. Yeah, I think that's the director. Philip Seymour Hoffman. Let's see. Now, there he is there. Let's try this. Twister, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yeah, see, he's in a baseball cap. It's on the right. He's got long hair in Twister. Yeah, here he is. Oops. Indie Phantom. Biden stated no reason for dropping out in the letter he didn't write. Is he even really dropping out then? Yeah, Biden's just, he has no choice. He can't function without people around him. They're cutting off all his money. Eventually, they're going to just cut off his people, and you know. But the Democrats are idiots for replacing him now. They might as well stick with him. I don't think anybody has a better chance than him at this point. You're going to have some people who just won't vote for whoever they replace him with. You just always have that. You have some people, and it won't be that many, but it was a close election back in 2020. Let's say you have, a tiny portion of the Democrats. Let's say it's 200,000 people. That could make the difference in one of the states. 200,000 people, you're talking about 20,000 votes in a particular district. That'll make the difference in some state. Indie Phantom. Biden will be stupefied when he finds out he is stepping aside. Yeah, that could very well be the case. Now, in the letter that people are posting, oh, here's Kite. Oh, that's hopeful, but no blue matter. Blue, no matter who, will still go strong. Well, yeah, sure, sure. There's a lot of people like that. You would think, like Scott Adams says, there in any poll or any vote, there's always going to be 25% of people who just you can't tell them anything. They're just gonna vote. You know, if Biden came out today and announced he was a full blown communist, there'd still be 25% of the people who would vote for him, just because of the blue no matter who, or they don't care, or they don't really get it, and they just didn't hear it, and they'll vote for him. But there's gonna be, I'm gonna say, at least, I don't know, 10. Let's say it's 10% of the Biden voters who just want Biden and no one else. And like some of my older relatives, I think, lean in that direction. Like they wanted Biden, they don't like Kamala Harris, and they don't like anybody else really. And some of them already voted. I don't know what they're going to do. The other problem too is, in some states, the rules will prevent anybody else other than Biden from being on the ballot. So I'm not sure how that's going to work, because some of the states have very stringent rules, and Biden will have to be, removed in some way in order for Kamala or whoever they replace him with to be on the ballots legally. And then if the Democrats just ignore that, well, there could be all sorts of legal challenges. And that's not good. That's going to jam everything up, especially if they don't pick Kamala. Indy Phantom, was Sunday an odd day for this announcement? No, because they wanted to announce it on a day where no one's paying attention, so the chaos dies down by Monday. So like Monday rolls around and everybody's just like, oh, I didn't know Biden is not running anymore. Yeah, he announced that yesterday. Like it's already past them, kind of thing. So that's why they drop bombs on Sunday. So people then, over Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they slowly start to catch up. And by the time, I don't know, there'll be somebody who, on Wednesday, finally finds out about it. And he's like, what? You mean Biden's out? I've been on vacation down the shore. And, yeah, no, Biden's out. He dropped out on Sunday. Sunday? That kind of thing. Indy Phantom, won't a certain part of the population also be like Kamala who? I don't think totally. Well, maybe a tiny proportion, but I know plenty of Democrats who hate Kamala, and they held their nose and voted for Biden because they were okay with him, but they hated Kamala, and they will never vote for her because she somehow polls worse than a demented old man. I mean, how bad do you have to be at your job to be worse than Joe Biden? You have to be pretty bad. Like Kamala excelled at being terrible. Indy Phantom, Biden will find out by Wednesday then. Yes. And then JEC, Kamala Booty Juice 24, let's go. Yeah, I would like to see Booty Jug in there. Might as well. I mean, I don't think he has a chance either. So let him, if you're going to burn a couple of Democrats in the 24 election, you might as well burn two. You never want to run again. So let them go down in flames and lose 50 states. And then that way the Democrats will never nominate them again. Like they'll never even think about running again because they'll just be associated with the worst campaign ever. Kite. The only reason a demented old man got in is because they knew Obama would be calling the shots behind the scenes. If that was the case, I wouldn't say it was Obama. I would say Obama's like a liaison, but I don't think he's calling the shots. I think there are guys deeper than Obama that call the shots. I would say it's like, guys in the intelligence community are calling the shots, but Obama's just there to help, grease the wheels. Indy Phantom, Trump versus a woman again? Hilarious. I mean, he is going to absolutely curb stomp her in a debate. I mean, it's going to be a massacre, and I mean that in the metaphorical sense, of course. It is just going to be like Kamala will have zero chance, zero chance. The moment where Biden got crushed in the last debate was when Trump said something like, I don't know what he said, and I don't think he knows what he said. Like, that was just devastating. It was just devastating. There was no way he could come back from that because it was true, number one, and everybody kind of knew it watching it. Even Biden's most ardent supporter has had to go, yeah. Now imagine a moment like that with Kamala Harris. It'll probably happen within minutes of the debate beginning. He'll probably say something like, she just laughs at nothing. And I don't think she even understands what we're talking about. Like, if Trump says something like that, and I'm sure he will, it's over. I mean, it's so over. Who would vote for this woman? But they're talking about having this digital election, or this, I don't know what they're calling it, something where they're all going to do a Zoom call and decide who's going to run, and then have some kind of electronic vote, and then I guess they're going to tell the delegates on Super Tuesday or whatever it is, whatever the Democrats call their convention in Chicago. They're going to then try to say, well, this is what we picked based on some kind of vote that you weren't in, but people were in it, so that's good, right? Indy Phantom, Trump just has to keep bringing up the border with Kamala. Yeah, and there's that. I mean, there's so many things. The border, number one. Two, she's the AI czar. What has she done? As far as I can tell, nothing. She just keeps repeating the same line over and over again. She seems drunk in half the speeches she's given. She doesn't seem to know anything. On top of the fact her record sucks. Her record of throwing people into the jail for pot and then bragging about listening to Tupac and I think smoking pot. Didn't she say that? Indy Phantom, virtual roll call makes no sense. Yeah, like, who voted for that? I'm sure that's another thing that's going to turn off. Imagine you're a Democrat. Like, I used to be a Democrat, like way back when. I'd be furious. I was mad. I forget when it happened. There was an incident in the Democratic National Convention. I don't think I was a Democrat then, but I remember being pissed off about it, where they were trying to take a vote on the floor on a particular issue, and the Democrats just didn't want to do it. So they just like steamrolled there was like a small contingent of people who were trying to force this vote, and the Democrats basically steamrolled them and refused to give them the vote, even though there were people, oh God, I wish I could remember what the issue was. But they did this kind of stuff in the Republican Party too, but they've paid for it because now they've been overthrown essentially by the MAGA populists, who a lot of them, I think, were probably Ron Paul supporters, and they all got screwed back in the Ron Paul days. I was a big Ron Paul supporter. And, when they got screwed, that really spurred on the insurrection within the Republican Party, I'll say. JEC, Palestinian protesters are going to make the convention, the 68 convention, look like a clam bake. You wrote calm bake. But yes, clam bake. Indy Phantom. Dems bending the rules, it seems. Oh, always. But yeah, I mean, that's the other factor too, and that was going to happen with Biden or not. You're going to have the Palestinian supporters, I guess you'd call them, the communists, essentially. The communist college kids who know nothing, who are, they're suddenly super worried about the Palestinians. Suddenly. They've decided this is their issue, and this is the hill they're going to die on, so to speak. And they're going to turn Chicago into a mess. And what are the Chicagoans going to do? What is the government going to do there? The same thing they did back in '68, because they'll have no choice. They either got to let the Palestinian protesters storm the convention hall and destroy everything, in which case I don't know what'll happen. I mean, that'll be bad. I wouldn't want to see that. That'll be too much. The opposite is they're going to have to crack down on them and start throwing everybody in prison. JC, the last time you had BLM riding or dying with Biden, they all shifted over to the Palestinian thing. Yeah, but it's like, it's not a good issue. And then, like, what kind of people just suddenly, oh, we're really concerned about BLM and black people in America. And then next day, like, oh, we're really concerned about the Palestinians. Like, weren't you concerned about black people in America yesterday? Yeah, we were. But now we're concerned about this more. So forget about that. Like, and at what point do they switch their NPC chip and it just becomes, oh, now we're suddenly concerned about climate change. Oh, now we're suddenly concerned about, I don't know, PETA. Indie Phantom, the convention sounds like it'll be good. The convention sounds like it'll be cool. Be good popcorn viewing. JEC, not a good issue for the Dems. There's no good issue for the Dems because they've painted themselves into such a bad corner. With not only the Palestinian issue, but with every other issue. So, especially with the Green Initiative, whatever you want to call it now, like, to destroy our energy independence was insane. It was absolutely insane. There was no reason to do it. It does not help anyone. It makes everybody mad at them. And, you know, all the help we could be giving to other countries and people, we can't do it now because now we're so effed up. We have to get Trump back in office just to get the energy policy back. JC, I mean, at least they're devoting their energy to trying to stop an actual genocide. Well, it's bad. I mean, I don't know if I'd go that far and call it that, but it's bad. It's super bad. I don't think they're systematically trying to kill everybody in there. I think they want them all out of there. But, you know, it's bad. This is why we should be out of this. Because there is no good solution for that part of the world. Just none. But, you know, and even the Republicans sort of have their foot on the same landmine. They just, you know, they've sided with a group that at least can help America to some extent. You know, the Israelis are a democracy. I have a lot of criticisms of their government and their current policies, and I don't like what's going on in Gaza, but, you know, the Palestinians essentially have no government, and there's no one to even align themselves with, and if they did have their own government, it would probably be pretty communist. I mean, the way they're headed. So there's not even anybody to really align yourself with. Even if you wanted to align yourself with the Palestinians, how do you even know you're talking to the guy in charge? There's no one person. It's too... There's nothing left to align yourself with, really. It's a shame, but I will remind everybody, of course, that Trump had the tensions tamped down. He had the Abraham Accords. He seemed to be making progress. Whatever the hell Biden did blew it all up, of course. Indie Phantom. They didn't do a proper primary, so now they just have crazy Kamala. Yes, they have. Oh, it's going to be great. JC, they're starving them out at this point. They just want them dead one way or another. I don't know if they want them dead. I mean, a lot of Palestinians work in Israel, and there's plenty of people in Israel that are perfectly fine with the Palestinians. There is a lot of back and forth. There is some protest against the government there, trying to stop the invasion and whatnot. But it's a mess. It's a mess we shouldn't have been involved with. Because by trying to help either side in that mess, we get the blame. Because we're the most powerful nation on earth. again, if like we had our act together on something, for instance, if we had our act together with immigration and we hadn't taken millions and millions and millions of immigrants into this country, we could probably take in a great deal of the Palestinian refugees and have plenty of room to house them. You know, we probably could have taken them in. Now, I would want them very carefully vetted, but we could take in quite a few of them if we had had our act together with immigration to begin with. Now we can't. We're just so we've s the bed so badly. We need to clean up our own house before we can help other people. Indie Phantom. How can Biden be taken seriously for the last 6 months in self-isolation as POTUS? He can't. I mean, it's just all media spin at this point. The people who take Biden seriously as president still watch television news. A lot of my older relatives, they watch TV and they read newspapers like it's 1975, and they're perfectly fine with him because as far as they know, things are going pretty good. According to, and when I point out things like, well, what about the high prices of groceries and stuff? They say stuff like, well, that's the greedy corporations doing that, which is exactly what Biden said about it, right? Biden blamed corporations for the rising prices, not, the most obvious thing, which is he ruined our energy independence that drove the price of gas through the roof, and now we're paying more for everything because everything in this country is shipped. So if you drive down the gas prices, immediately all the prices go down. JC, up here, we had a by-election in Toronto, and the Liberals lost ridings. They held for over 30 years. Jewish people turned on the Liberals and cost them seats that should have been safe. Good. I'm glad to see Jewish citizens standing up to the Democrats, who have really taken them for granted, along with a lot of various minority groups who had supported the Democrats for years. I always say this, I still can't get over how the Orthodox Jews were treated in New York City during the pandemic. I mean, it was one of the most frightening things I've ever seen. I mean, it looked like something out of World War II. And I said it at the time, like, what the F are they doing in New York? Of all places, to treat the Orthodox Jewish community like this was horrific. It was horrific what they were doing. So, yeah, I don't think, if I were, I wouldn't vote for Democrats ever again anyway, but I can't imagine being Jewish and, the mental contortions I'd have to do to say, yeah, I still support Democrats. I mean, it's so crazy to me. And there's this other thing about, what happened in the UK with Labour. They became incredibly anti-Semitic to the point at which Jeremy Corbyn had to come out and just denounce anti-Semitism in his own party because it had gotten so bad. This is what happens when you go left. It becomes worse and worse and worse. They become more racist and more anti-Semitic. It's bad. It's the leftism that's driving a lot of this, I think. JC, Palestinian refugees historically are a lot of trouble, and they end up creating Islamic communist terror cells and go after politicians. Well, I think, though, if we had our act together, and we don't, so I'm not suggesting we take them, but imagine if we took, say, 10,000 of the best Palestinians, and we vetted them very carefully. So these guys weren't in any terror groups, and, 10,000 spread over the United States wouldn't really turn into a large community of Palestinians who would then turn on us, I think. I think they would be integrated very well because there would be 10,000, but they'd be spread so thin, they would just integrate with the communities they were in. But that's not going to happen right now. JEC, conservatives at over 20 points ahead of the federal polls at this point. Good. I want to see Canada go red as well. Indie Phantom, Trump already has some funny anti-Kamala ads on Truth Social. Oh my God, the ammo he must have. At this point, it's not will they have a good commercial for Trump. It's like, which one do you run? which one do you run at this point? There's so many. I mean, now he's got to retire all the ones about bumbling Joe Biden, which were great, by the way. You know, he can still probably run the one about where he was nearly assassinated. But the ones about Kamala, oh, that's all fresh new territory. That's going to be hilarious. Indy Phantom. Any chance they will not go with Kamala? Seems like they are rallying behind her out of desperation. The problem is, if they don't do something about, the first thing they have to do is this. In order to make sure Kamala, just Kamala, is on every ballot in every state, they're going to have to do something with Joe Biden that makes it legal in certain states for them to switch him out on the ballot. Now, I'm not sure how that works in every single state, but my understanding is in some states it may even be too late, like Georgia. But Trump is so far ahead in Georgia, it's not even going to matter. But Biden may still be on the ballot in Georgia, even if Kamala's the nominee. And I think there's one or two other states that are like that. But if they 25th him, or he leaves the presidency, but it doesn't sound like he's leaving, but let's say he does, or they 25th him, or he announces he has dementia and can't run, well, then Kamala would have to be president and run, and it would automatically, I think, replace Biden on all the ballots, and then it would be legal, something like that. But now, with this virtual roll call or whatever it is, they're opening the door to, well, we don't want Kamala. We want, let's say, Buttigieg. Like, let's say they do a roll call and everybody votes for Buttigieg and hardly anybody votes for Kamala. Well, then what are they going to do? If they put Buttigieg on the ballot, well, they're going to have to get rid of Kamala somehow. If Kamala wants to run, I kind of think she doesn't want to run, quite frankly. Then they got a real problem. They got a real problem then. So, I think it doesn't matter who they run. If they don't run Biden, they have no chance. Like, no chance. Unless they're going to totally overthrow the country, they have zero chance of anybody else. Because the election was, even if the election was close, they'll lose so many voters just because they changed horses in midstream, as they used to say, that enough people will just be mad enough to write in Biden that their vote won't count towards Kamala or the Democrats. So what are you going to do? And again, the cheating will have to be on such a massive scale, they can't make up the difference. And I think they're resigned to losing anyway. I think really their probably smartest move is just to concentrate on the down ballot races and try to take back the Senate and the House. Because if they could do that, well, then Trump would be toast. They'd impeach him the first day and he'd be out of office in 10 minutes. I don't think they can take the Senate. It's possible, it's pretty possible they can take back the House, but I'm hoping they're going to. I'm hoping that Biden has done so much damage to the Democratic Party, they also lose the House. So I think there's a very good chance it won't be Kamala. I kind of think Kamala doesn't want to run. I mean, I don't think she was there to run. I think she was there to make Joe Biden look good. And she did that by looking so incredibly incompetent, and she had such low numbers that nobody wanted her to be president. And everybody said, well, we would love to get rid of Joe, but our alternative is worse, so we'll stick with Joe. And that worked for a while, but... JC, in Canada, the Conservatives are the blue party, Liberals are the red. Oh, wow, that's confusing. JC, they'll lose a lot of money if they don't go with Kamala. Oh, yeah, but that's already happening. But they also will lose money if they don't swap out Joe. Because a bunch of donors have drawn a line in the sand and said, we're not going to give you any money until you swap out Joe. So they're screwed either way. JC, watch. These people spent 4 years clutching pearls about J6, and now they'll turn around and try to overthrow Trump before he gets elected. Oh, yeah, I'm sure there'll be a massive, fiery but peaceful protest the day Trump is inaugurated and the day Trump is reelected. Oh, yeah, fiery but mostly peaceful. Very mostly peaceful. JEC, they needed a black woman on the ticket because it was 2020 and they needed points from BLM, I think he meant. BML. What would that be? Bowel Movement Light. Yeah, I mean, you know, they picked her. She was a bad choice as well. I think they should have went with Buttigieg, but if they had gone with Buttigieg, I think he'd already be president. He'd probably be president right now. I think two years and a day in, they would have said, Joe, just retire. Buttigieg's got this. And he would have been, he'd be losing too, but he'd be less embarrassing than Biden. Now it's reached the point, I think, where they're like, anybody's less embarrassing than Biden. So, but they are determined to make it even worse. There's a lot of indecisiveness. And this is, I think, the result of being collectivist, because collectivists don't have a hierarchy, right? They don't want a hierarchy. They wanted this idea that everybody can have a voice and we'll all decide together, and then everybody will be happy, right? See, if we all get together and we all decide, then nobody can complain, except the exact opposite happens. See, the Republicans are more on the individualistic kind of roadmap, let's say. I mean, they're collectivists too in their own little ways, but, you know, they're fine with a competition, and Trump won that competition, right? Yeah, there were some guys, I really want Ron DeSantis, I think he's a better candidate, but Ron didn't get enough votes. So we had a contest, and a lot of Ron DeSantis guys are now like, okay, well, we're going to go with Trump. But with Democrats, they want everybody to love everybody equally, and they want everything equal. So this is what they do. They're constantly having these votes, but the votes don't really make anybody happy unless you acknowledge that there's a hierarchy, that some people are better than others. Not in groups, I'm talking individuals. And if they had acknowledged that, well, the best people, who were the best people in the Democratic side to run for office? They didn't acknowledge it that way. Kamala is obviously underqualified for everything. She should not be in office. She certainly shouldn't be vice president, and she absolutely should not be president. Why is she there? Not due to competence, not due to the fact that she won. She's there because she was chosen. As you say, they needed a black woman on the ticket. Arden is here. Hello, all. Hello. If they had picked somebody based on competence, I mean, probably Buttigieg would have been the VP, because Buttigieg did come in second in the primaries, and that makes sense. Unfortunately for the Dems, he didn't tick enough boxes, even though he does tick a box because he's gay. I don't know why they wouldn't have the first gay VP. That would have been just as good, in my view. Their woke initiatives. Okay, you don't have a black woman. So what? You have a gay guy? He's ticks a box. But it was more about attacking Trump for his supposed racism than anything else. So by having Kamala there, they could play the race card and say, see? Now, I mean, okay, now they're stuck with her. They have to make her the nominee. Or what does that say about why they chose her in the first place? It says, well, we chose her because we needed her. Now we don't need her, so F her. So who will they pick? I mean, if they don't go with Biden, they should stick with Biden. That's the best chances with Biden. They're going to lose with Biden, but they'll lose the least amount with Biden. They should not pick Kamala, but their own rules would tell you, yes, we have to pick Kamala because she's the VP and she's the next one in line. But they're just crazy enough to not pick Kamala. That would be even worse. Kite, gay VP loses the black vote. Black women doesn't lose the LGBT vote. Interesting point. Possibly true, because yeah, Buttigieg did not poll well with black voters, but they're losing the black vote anyway to Trump. There's been some great rapper videos about Trump recently. There's a great video. I don't know if you saw it. There's two guys in the hood, two black guys, and they see on their phone that Trump just got shot, and they're like, "Oh, we got to roll." And they open the trunk of the car, and they put on ski mask, and they get out their guns, and they hop in the car, and they take off to help Trump. It was pretty funny. Ardent Party. Biden's out according to today's news, or did I get trolled? No, it looks like that's the case. He put out a letter saying he'll finish his term, but he won't run. So he is LBJing it. That's what LBJ did. He announced that he wouldn't run. So now the next person in line should be Kamala by their own wacky rules. Ardent, in any case, I have 3 expected pairings: Harris Newsom, Harris Whitmer, Clinton Sanders. Well, let's think about that. Newsom is also terrible. Polls terribly. He is somehow still the governor of California. Don't ask me how. The only thing I can think of is California is so corrupt, no one could get elected in California other than someone who was approved by the Democrats. But he's the absolute worst. James Lindsay calls him the American Stalin if he was ever elected president. I don't think they would pick him as the VP, and I don't think he would take the job if offered it. He would say no, because his plan is to run in 2028. Gretchen Whitmer as VP, she might take it, because no one wants Gretchen Whitmer, the Wicked Witch of Michigan, and she's not really in the mix yet. But by running as VP, she could up her profile and say, "Oh, we're running against the boys, ladies, vote for us." But whether or not they would pick her, and whether or not Harris would pick her, is another story. She might, to pick another woman, but I don't know if Governor Whitmer brings anything to the table, because I'm pretty sure everybody in Michigan hates her. So Clinton Sanders would be crazy. I don't think Hillary Clinton would run with Bernie Sanders, because as much of a sellout and a phony as Bernie Sanders is, I don't think he wants to be in it anymore. So yeah, I don't think he'll do it. And even if he would, I don't think Hillary would ask him. But Harris Clinton, maybe, if the deal is for Harris to step down 5 minutes after she's elected. I wouldn't trust that pairing, but who knows? Ardent, granted, the last one's my long shot, very much so. JC, they can't run Harris Newsom because they're both from Cali. Oh, right, that's a rule too. Well, one of them, like Harris could change her residence or something, I think. Or the Democrats could change their rules, or no, that's a federal rule. Indy Phantom, Newsom kind of backed her and seems disinterested according to a recent tweet, says Indy Phantom. Yes. Yeah, no, he's disinterested. He wants to run in 2028 fresh. He'll be the guy who says, see, I told you so. Arden at JEC, oh, maybe Newsom Whitmer then. Nah, definitely not Newsom. You can pretty much cross him off your list. I don't think he'll run because he's just... He wants to run in 2028 as president. JC, Kamala Whitmer would kill each other. The B, Boss Energy, would cancel each other out, maybe. I'm calling Harris Buttigieg. That would be the most obvious to me. No time to change her residence. That's true, too. Yeah, I guess it would have to be 3 months, and that's probably not enough time, yeah. Yeah, Newsom can't because he's governor. Newsom's definitely out, Ardent, because he really wants to run in 2028 as the president. And I think he senses what a dumpster fire this run is anyway. Trump's going to win. He wants to be the guy in 2028 to say, see how Trump screwed up the country? Vote for me. even though I don't think anybody will vote for him, quite frankly. He's got way too much baggage from California. And, I mean, I can't imagine the amount of cheating and lying the Dems would have to do to get him in. There's really nobody on the Democratic side that has any talent or charisma worth a damn. The only people they have are people who are unknown enough that that if the Democrats ran them, they would go, "Who? Well, I guess he's okay. He seems fine. I don't know anything about him." Like someone like that, they could run because you could justify in your own mind as a Democratic voter that, well, I haven't heard anything bad, so maybe he believes all the things I believe in because I'm a Democrat too, right? JC, no time for anything. Everything is going to be last minute. Didn't Trump Jr. steal Newsom's first wife? That was Newsom's first wife? The one he's married to now? Well, I know that Newsom slept with his campaign manager's wife. And that video has gone around X a bunch of times. And I don't think, I don't see how you get elected when you have that kind of a drawback on a national scale. Like, how do you explain that? Oops, I tripped and fell into your wife. Sorry. On top of the fact, the French Laundry is a big scandal, too. And the apology he made is so... both apologies are unbelievable. You should watch the apologies. I mean, the French Laundry apology is ridiculous. I made a mistake, he said. How do you make a mistake exactly when you say, oh, here's the rule. You can't go to restaurants, and if you go anywhere, wear a mask. That's the rule now. And then you just don't do that. You go to a restaurant without a mask, and nothing happens. And you get caught, and you go, well, I made a mistake. Oh, what? You didn't know the rule you made up for everybody else? That's not possible. You made the rule. D-bag. He's such a... Indy Phantom. Clooney should run as her VP. He's already the biggest cuck in Hollywood. I almost read that wrong. Actually, Clooney, I mean, with his charisma, he could raise the ticket, but he doesn't know anything. I think J.D. Vance would stomp him in a debate. John is here. Yes, it's true. John Casalegio. Yes, it's true, but she looked like a real woman then. Who are we talking about? Oh, man. There's a delay. So, she looked like a real woman then. Are you talking about Kamala? Kamala back in the day was eye candy. I mean, that was pretty much her job, and it worked for a while. Indy Phantom, yes, Gullifoyle was the former Mrs. Newsom. Oh, wow. I did not know that. JC, Kimberly Ann Gullifoyle from 2000 to 2004. From 2001 to 2006, she was married to Democratic politician Gavin Newsom. Crazy. She's currently the fiancée of Donald Trump Jr. Weird. Oh, okay. And John was... Okay. Now I know what you guys were trying to say. Sorry for the delay. John, okay. I got it. I did not realize that was the... I mean, I didn't really know her name. I think I heard it a couple of times, but didn't really put in all the pieces. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't think Newsom has a chance in hell of being elected president, quite frankly. At least right now. He's polling terribly. John Casalegio. Go look before and after photos. Oh, okay. Let's see. Kimberly Foyle before and after. Wow, it already has it here. Let's see. Okay. Well, interesting. Yeah, had some work done. Had a little work done. Weird. Yeah, ladies, don't get work done. I don't think it's a good thing. I really don't. I think age gracefully. Age gracefully. I mean, I have plenty of relatives who are female and None of them ever had cosmetic surgery. They look fine. I mean, they look older, but people get older. What are you going to do? Indy Phantom. She used to be on the 5 on Fox. Well, it's got a great rack. I mean, I like the rack. Ardent. Who's your darkest horse picks for Kamala's running mate? Darkest horse. Well, the darkest horse would be Michelle Obama, who is not going to run. But, you know, a lot of people think she could run and win. She is popular enough to do some damage to Trump, but she's not running. JC, Trump Jr. is her third rich husband, according to Wiki. Well, as they say, women never trade down. They only trade up. So, I mean, Trump Jr., I mean, you can't go much higher than that, I would say. So, and look, kind of like everybody in a certain social... Oh, here she is back in the day. Wow, look at her there. Here she is back in the day with Gavin Newsom. Looks like Gavin Newsom's had some work, too. He looks a little different in that shot, too. John Casaligio. I agree. After surgery, never looks better, in my opinion. Indy Phantom. Kellyanne Conway had work, but still looking hot for her age. Usually a bad idea, though. Yeah, once in a while, they're pretty good. I'll tell you, Donna D'Errico. Man, she's 50, and she had to have had work. I'm gonna pull her up. Donna D. There it is. There. Now this chick. Now this is her back in the day. I mean, just a total smoke show. And then this is her on OnlyFans now. Still looking amazing. Now she's clearly had a little bit of work done, but it's pretty good. I mean, that's pretty close, I would say. JC, Michelle Obama is the most popular Democrat in the country, mainly because she never held office. Yeah, exactly. She has nothing for anybody to complain about. The only thing, you know, first lady stuff, which is always usually positively. The only first lady I've ever seen trounced was poor Melania Trump, who I feel bad for because she didn't do anything wrong. I mean, the media just attacked her relentlessly. But I will say Jill Biden is not very good at it, it seems. She seems pushy and kind of a jerk. JC, Newsom's teeth are fake, 100%. But here, you look at Donna D'Errico, and she's on the right picture there. That's like, I think she's 50 or 52, something like that. But pretty damn good. Now, obviously, she's probably got a lot of makeup on, and her face is different, but her face doesn't look bad. Her face doesn't look awful. It looks pretty good, pretty smooth for someone in their 50s. So, good on her, I say. I mean, it's funny, though, too, because the surgery does change your face. Like, you might smooth out the wrinkles, but you look like a different person to me. Indy Phantom, gotta fly, but I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for stopping in. IP, good to see you. IP, that's my new thing. I'll call everybody by their initials. But yeah, I mean, in terms of a running mate for Kamala, it kind of doesn't matter. It's got to be somebody. The Dems have to know they're going to lose. So the kind of person you want to run with Kamala Harris is the kind of person that never wants to hold national office, number one, but wants to raise their profile high enough for some reason. So, like, I'll tell you a guy who would jump in there in a heartbeat if he thought they could win would be Adam Schiff. Like, Adam Schiff would jump in, but he can't, I think, because he's from California, too. But if he wasn't, he'd jump in there in a heartbeat, I'd say. Ardent, judging by older woman's appearance is like judging the condition of a used car. It's best done in the cold light of day. Wise words from Ardent. JEC, call everyone by their initials. Should be easy for me, says JEC. That was something I was doing in the Pineys. You guys haven't read that bit yet because I haven't published book 15. Yeah, so like Adam Schiff would be like, he'd be right there if he could, but he can't, so he's out. Nancy Pelosi's too old, and she's smart enough to know, oh yeah, we're gonna lose. So it had to be somebody who thinks they have a shot or is willing. I think Pete Buttigieg is the ideal candidate. I don't think he cares that they're going to lose. He could raise the profile of himself by running, and then if he runs in 2028, he can say, well, it wasn't my fault. It was Kamala. I was only the VP. Now I'm running for president. Now I've got lots of experience and blah, blah, blah. So, anyhow, but we'll see what happens on Monday. So here's what's going to happen on Monday. Supposedly the head of the Secret Service is going to resign, which is about damn time. She should have resigned 5 minutes after she heard Trump got shot. Should have been like, oh, Trump got shot? Oh, let me just start writing my letter right now. So she sounds like she's gonna resign on Monday. Then I guess the race is on to see who's going to replace Biden. And apparently there's a lot of fighting behind the scenes between Kamala's people and Joe's people. Jack Posobiec had some deets on Twitter about that, and he drops little enticing hints on his Twitter feed every once in a while. So I think we're going to learn more on Monday, because if Kamala actually wants to be the presidential nominee, she's going to have to work for it if she actually wants to do it. But there may just be people trying to push her into it because, number one, she's the next logical choice, and number two, if she doesn't do it, what is she going to do? Or she should at least push for it, so they have to come to her and say, what do you want not to run? You know what I mean? Okay, if you don't run for VP, we'll put you on the Supreme Court or something insane like that, right? And she might as well get the perk, because, that's what I would do. I would be like, okay, give me something so I won't run and run somebody else, and then at least you got something out of it, and then you don't even have to run. And that way, when they lose, you can turn around and say, see, you should have ran me. Anywho, as much as I want to keep looking at Donna D'Errico, we need to get to work. And we need to see what's happening in movies by going to the numbers. All right. So, as Indie Phantom says, we shouldn't trust the hype on Twisters, but there's no denying that it's kind of a hit. So we're at 80 million this weekend for Twisters. That's pretty darn good. 123 million worldwide for a movie that cost $200 million. So this should be even for the budget next week, I would say. Probably next week. It does have good buzz here. So I would expect this to do 50 million next week, maybe. And whatever it does overseas, maybe it didn't open everywhere yet. Let's see. That's Mexico. Doing well in Mexico. Australia, Brazil. Is it going to open in China? Oh, it's going to open in China. Next week. No, that's this weekend. Oh, it already opened in Brazil last week. Oh, weird. It opened early in Brazil and some of these places. Well, we don't have the numbers from China yet. That could be big in China. Because China's just so huge in terms of its population, and people still go to the movies there. So when they have those numbers, that could be big money. Could be huge money. So, I mean, they're calling it 42 million, but maybe there's more there that we don't know about. So I would say, yeah. I mean, it's not money yet, but it's kind of heading at least to break even. We'll see. I mean, it could be a big drop off next week if Indie Phantom's review is any indication. Number two, dropping from one, is Despicable Me. This movie's doing pretty good. It's in its third week, 574 million for a movie that cost nowhere near that. Only cost 100 million. So yeah, that's money. Now some say this is the end of the Despicable Me franchise, but I don't know, man. They're definitely doing Minions 3. That was already announced. I think they'll do another one. Or I think they'll spin it into a TV show. Something like that. Um, you know, this would be easy for the celebrities to do. Even if it's a TV show, they could do it. The only question would be the money, but see, with a voice actors, they could do every single episode in a week. You know, they can come in, do all their lines in a few days, go home, take a break. You know, they'll do some editing, figure out what they need, start putting together episodes, and then a few months later they call them back to fill in the gaps or add a couple of other scenes they missed. It's easy money. JC, they'll make Minions movies forever. I don't know about forever, but I think they're going to turn this into a TV show eventually. So this franchise has made $5 billion worldwide so far. And that, I think, was before the money came in for this one. So maybe we're closer to $6 billion. Number three, it's still at 3, Inside Out 2. A monster of a movie. $1.4 billion now. Holy crap. That's a lot of ka-ching. And look at the overseas. Overseas, international box office is almost $1 billion. That's crazy. That's freaking crazy, man. Those are crazy numbers. Oh, they're going to make a ton of these. Yeah. Look forward to Inside Out 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know what they're going to do. Other people were telling me the story's kind of played out, but I think they'll just switch it over to another character or continue with the character's life. You know, maybe fast forward it into the future and do her daughter having feelings or whatever. So we'll see. Dropping from 2 to 4 is Longlegs. It's only 11.7 million, but that's not bad for a movie that's been out in its second week, and it only dropped 48%, so that's pretty good in terms of box office. I mean, it seems to have some legs. It's at 46 million, and don't know what the budget was. I can't imagine it was a lot, though, because there really aren't a lot of effects in a movie like this. It's about a serial killer and an FBI agent trying to uncover it. JC, only people going to the movies are people with kids looking for something to do to get out of the house? Sure. Seems that way. But, you know, people go on dates, and going to a movie on a date is still a thing. It's not a great thing anymore, but it's still a thing. Yeah, so Longlegs, without knowing the budget, I would guess this is probably money. I can't imagine this thing costs more than $20 million, but I mean, it could, but I don't think so. A Quiet Place, dropping from 4 to 5, 6.1 million. We're at 241 million. And, does not say if that's money. I don't know. That one's kind of tough to call because there are a lot of effects in it. Could be big money, but there aren't a lot of superstars in it. No name actors that I even recognize. So, it could be more like 100 million, in which case they're already in profit mode. So, number 6, Fly Me to the Moon, dropping from 5. I don't think this movie's doing well. Wait, what was the percentage drop there? Go back. Oh, shoot. Fly Me to the Moon. Yeah, it dropped in its second week, dropped 65%. That's not good. So we're only at 30 million, and this movie cost 100 million. Yeah, this is going to be a flop. This is going to cost them money. It didn't look good. I watched the trailer and it looks terrible, in my view. Number 7, dropping from 6, Bad Boys Ride or Die. This movie's already money in its 7th week, but still making it. 388 million for a $100 million movie, so that's good. Looking for Bad Boys 6 coming soon. Yeah, so slowly going out of theaters, but I mean, it made 2.6 million. Why not keep it in? Maxine XXX dropping, or no, was it 8? Now it's at 8 in its 3rd week. Didn't even make $1 million this week. Not hearing great things about it, although I kind of want to see the whole trilogy now. But I haven't seen the others yet, so I don't know. Feels like more like a streamer movie, doesn't it? Feels like more of like cult classic kind of thing. But I do like some of the aesthetic and the idea behind it. I don't know. I can't motivate myself to go see it, though, for some reason. The Bike Riders. This was a big movie that just never really took off. Again, it might be pretty good in streaming. But geez, 34 million? I don't think that's any way that's money. There's too many big stars. It's a period piece. I think they were expecting big things. So, yeah, I don't think this is money. I think this had to cost probably more than 34 million. I mean, with all the motorcycle stunts in it. But it's part of what you're saying, JEC. People just aren't going to see movies. The kind of people who would have went to go see a Bike Riders movie would have gone to see it in the 80s, the 90s, maybe the 2000s. But those people would have been alive and recognized the various characters or the archetypes that were in this movie. Now those people are mostly gone, or they're too old to go to the movies. So, you know, this is a time period and place that was cool and everything, but like I was a tiny little babe when these events happened. So like, even though I kind of know the aesthetic and everything, it's only because I saw stuff on television. I saw it second and third hand. So it's not like I experienced it. So I have a mild interest in it, but you know, who the hell's this movie for? Don the Second's here. Sup, Tony? How the movie's looking? Meh. Although, I don't know. We're getting a lot of conflicting opinions here. Let me go back to the list. Ardent, saw your review of Bone Tomahawk the other day. Looks like you had a lot of fun with that one. Oh, yeah, LOL. LOL indeed. That movie's messed up. Don the Second, watch Bone Tomahawk if you want to see a messed up Western movie. Holy crap. So gross. Yeah, so the movies are kind of not doing that great. Out of the stuff that's out, I still kind of want to go see Longlegs. I hear some mixed things about it. But other than that, I kind of wanted to see Twisters, but Indie Phantom, who was here earlier, said, nah, it's not. It's kind of girl bossy and not so great. But the first Twister movie wasn't that great, so I don't know. I think it'd probably be an okay date movie. Don the Second, I'll check out the trailer. Well, the stuff that I'm talking about that is really messed up and bone tomahawk will definitely not be in the trailer. It's easily one of the grossest westerns I've ever seen. So what the Indians do in that movie is they brutally kill people, literally with a bone tomahawk, like a sharpened jawbone that they like do horrible things to people in it, and they show it. You won't see it in the trailer. I think you might see it in kind of one version of the trailer, like the Red Band trailer. But the really worst scene, oh my god! I'm telling you, if you're squeamish at all, don't even see it. Ardent, Bone Tomahawk had practical effects that were very well done. Yeah. Don the Second, scalping? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there's scalping in it. There's a scalping scene that is extremely graphic. It's up close and personal, dude. But then in that scene, after they scalp the dude, they do something to him. I don't even know if I could say. It's so bad, I don't even think I could say it on a live stream, what they do to him. And it's so messed up. It's so messed up, dude. Don the Second, ouch, yeah. So if you're even squeamish at all, don't go see it. But I'll say this about the movie. It's very well written. Like, all the characters have great characterizations. They all have a role to play. There's not an ounce of fat on that screenplay. But man, the scenes with the Indians killing dudes are effing brutal. Number 9, Horizon, American Saga, Chapter 1, $685,000. This movie's just tanking. I was kind of rooting for it, but oh my god, 30 million. It's no way it's money. And part 2 has been delayed because of this. I don't know what they're going to do to fix it. It cost 50 million. It's not even going to make its budget back. That's brutal. I feel bad for Kevin Costner, but I can't really feel that bad for him. He's still a millionaire. I don't know what he was thinking. So the second chapter of this is not coming out in August. I don't know what he's going to do. Maybe he's going to release it later, next year, hoping everybody forgets about the first chapter that you need to see to understand what the hell's going on. I don't know what he's going to do. Number 10 is Oddity. This is an Australian horror movie. This is getting some good buzz. It looks weird. It got a perfect score on Rotten Tomatoes. So maybe it's good. I don't know. It looked very weird to me. I can't say it looked bad, but it looked super weird. $555,500. It's definitely not money, but let's read the synopsis. I don't think I read the synopsis. When Danny is brutally murdered at a remote country house she and her husband, Ted, are renovating, everyone suspects a patient from the local mental health institution where Ted is a doctor. A year later, Ted is living in the half-renovated country house with his new girlfriend who believes Danny's ghost haunts the house. Ted dismisses her as Danny's blind twin sister. Darcy, a self-proclaimed psychic, pays them an unexpected visit. Darcy believes there was more to her sister's murder than people know, and she has brought with her the most dangerous item from her cursed collection to help her exact revenge. Well, it sounds kind of cool. Sounds like a lot, though. I kind of want to see it. I mean, the Australians don't mess around with their movies either, so. Ardent. At dawn, it's definitely not a movie for the faint of heart. Yeah, talking about Bone Tomahawk. Number 11, Sound of Hope, the story of Possum Trot. This is another Angel Studios movie. Doing well. Its third week. 11 million. I don't think it has an international release. No. What was the budget? Yeah, it's already made its budget back. 8.5 million. So that's probably money because Angel Studios, I don't think they have the money or spend the money to really advertise all that much. Ardent, sorry, got behind for a minute. No worries. The Lion King, they re-released again, made $283,000. Touch, from Focus, not sure what this is. And we got no internet for a second. After Touch, Thelma, which I still kind of want to see on streaming. Looks like a funny movie. Okay, here's Touch. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is about. Hasn't even cracked a mill. Widow Clickquat. Oh, this is new. 190,000. It's only in 100 theaters. I don't know what this is about. Looks like the Amish. The Amish guy, Amish woman. Oh, here's the synopsis. After her husband's untimely death, Barb Nicole Ponsardin Clickquat flouts convention by assuming the reins of the fledgling wine business they had nurtured together. Steering the company through political and financial reversals, she defies her critics and revolutionizes the champagne industry to become one of the world's first great businesswomen. Okay? So, nothing wrong with that, I guess, if it's true. Sounds a little girl bossy, but who knows? Kinds of Kindness. I have no interest in this movie. It's weird for being weird, I think. $115,000. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, still in theaters, making money, $106,000. The Garfield movie, still in theaters, making money, $76,000. That's already made its money, along with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Sing Sing, indie movie, now in its second week. Not really dropping by that much. It's only in 4 theaters. Ardent French might be Clico. Janet Planet, also going out of theaters, $30,000. Robot Dreams, still lingering, $21,500. Oh, here's a bunch of new stuff. Crumb Catcher. Why do I know this movie? I've heard that title before. Crumb Catcher. What the heck is this movie? At a remote estate in upstate New York, newlyweds Leah and Shane celebrate their honeymoon, but a pall hangs over their union. She works for the publisher who will be releasing his debut novel, a lightly autobiographical examination of family trauma, alcoholism, and the immigrant experience. Barely suppressed tensions over family trauma would be enough kindling for a blow-up, but Leah and Shane's marriage is truly tested by the appearance of 2 weirdos with entrepreneurial zeal and half-baked blackmail plot. John and Rose. They're looking for investors for John's latest invention, a culinary breakthrough called Crumb Catcher, and they won't take no for an answer. Weird. That sounds like a funky movie. Maybe? Sounds very art housey, but I might give it a chance. Crossing, as in 2 theaters. Another movie just opening up. Looks like a foreign movie. A Tale of Identity. A tale of identity, acceptance, and an unlikely connection that transcends borders and generations. Leah, a retired school teacher living in Georgia, hears from a young neighbor, Achi, that her long-lost niece, Tekla, a transgender woman, I'm done, has crossed the border into Turkey. Hoping to bring Tekla home after a period of estrangement, Leah travels to Istanbul with the unpredictable Achi to find her. Exploring the hidden depths of the city, they cross paths with a transgender lawyer called Evrim, who helps them in their search. I think I saw the trailer for this, but I don't think I reviewed it. I didn't want to go down the whole transgender thing. It seemed... I don't know enough about transgender people in other cultures. I kind of think the Turks wouldn't be super stoked about it. And something called The Great Absence. Follows the story of reconciliation of the father and son who had been estranged for a long time, lost memories, and dispersed pieces of lives. Don the Second, bro heard trans and lost all hope. Yeah, because every time, like, look, there's as far as I know, there's only been one movie that had a trans actor in it. I forget the name of the movie, but it looked pretty good. because it didn't mention anything about trans people. The trans person was just in it. They're just acting in it. I'm not sure if they're supposed to be the daughter or the trans son or whatever, but they're just in it. And the movie's a horror movie, and it looked fine. It looked perfectly serviceable. But like when you go down like, oh, this is a movie about trans people and transitioning and blah blah blah, you lose me. Like, I don't want to see it. It sounds depressing and very esoteric. And then you're going to take it and put it in another country. Now you're really losing me. JC, Crying Game. That was a good movie. But I don't think it was really about being trans. I don't know. Didn't seem like it. It was fine. I saw it. I like Forrest Whitaker. He's a good actor. So that would be the only other movie, I guess. Sam Rogers, good morning. Good morning, Sam. But, yeah, and the thing about the Crying Game, like, it wasn't made at a time when, like, people were super hyper-focused on this issue. Now everybody's super hyper-focused, and now there's, like, so many... there's more trans movies than maybe trans people at this point. I don't know if that is that... Like, the Crying Game was made before trans people were, like, even... There was even a term. Like, the term was, like, what did they even call her? I don't even know what they called her in the movie. I guess maybe they called her... I don't want to say it, but I guess maybe they called her an outdated term. But, like, that wasn't the vibe in the movie. The vibe was like, oh, that guy's gay. He just doesn't know it. Or something like that. JC, no, it was about accidentally sleeping with a trans while on the run from the law. Yeah, I guess. Trying to remember exactly what happened in the movie. But, like, doesn't he get mad when they get undressed, right? Ardent. They were transvestites then. There's another word, too, that I didn't want to say. But, yeah. But anyhow, this week, 145 million at the box office. Not too shabby, I guess, for the summer. Ardent. JC, I can't type what they were called then. Ardent, transvestite shouldn't be verboten. I don't think it is. Transsexual, asked Sam Rogers. I guess that was an okay term. YouTube. JC, it's not outdated, it's just not allowed. Yeah, there's like one other term I'm thinking of that I didn't want to say, but I'm not saying anything against the trans people, YouTube. Relax. Everybody relax. They're perfectly fine. I'm perfectly fine with the trans people. Okay? Just relax. Ardent, look, let's just stop guessing the term I'm trying to not say. Pretty sure that's all acceptable word. I don't know. Sam Rogers, you don't have to say it. Keep your channel. Yeah, exactly. All right. Let's, I didn't get a chance to put up the trade, so we're gonna get back into the politics, I'm sure. JC, I don't even know what that... Oh, yeah. That might be the word that you're sort of kind of saying, but not really. But I don't even want to say that. So I'm just going to move on. Drop it into Variety. Biden drops out of the presidential race because, you know, this is important movie news, everybody. That Joe Biden dropped out of the presidential race. Make movies, Hollywood. Please make movies. Stop concentrating on politics. Biden's decision surprised most TV news networks. Oh, yeah, it's a real shock, isn't it? Ardent, LOL, offending the blank is my bread and butter, though. Come watch Sultans of Shaladay on Saturday. That is Ardent's crew. The Sultans of Shaladay on Saturday. Shouldn't you be the Sultans of Saturday? Yeah, so imagine CBS, MSNBC, and other networks scrambled to cover the bombshell that they were shocked Joe Biden would resign. I'm just shocked Joe Biden's still alive. He looks like he's dying, man. It looks like he's been dying since he was running for president. He should not be in this office. JEC, only begging him to drop out for a month. What a shock. Yeah, I know, right? Like, how could you be surprised at all by this announcement? Ardent, LOL, bombshell. Oh, here we go. Kamala Harris launches presidential bid, everybody. Isn't this amazing entertainment coverage and variety? Vice President has Biden's endorsement and is unchallenged as yet for the Democratic nomination. Oh. Stormy is here. Hey, Stormy. Hey, Tony, says Stormy. Oh, here we go. Mark Hamill, Kathy Griffin, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and more Hollywood reactions to President Biden's decision to drop out. He restored honesty. Oh, yeah. I can't think of a more honest person than the guy who raised a crack addict whoremonger. JC, best comedy in years. I know, right? Ardent, oh damn, a woman's here. Gotta behave now. Yeah, everybody put their pants back on. Let's see. Let's see if they have some of the quotes. Oh, here we go. Stormy, really? At Ardent, you never behave. Here's John Favreau. Please don't say something positive about Biden. And yet he will. A courageous and selfless decision. The president did what he's done for the last 4 years. He listened to the American people and put the country's interests ahead of his own, the exact opposite of Donald Trump. God, I've lost so much respect in one tweet. Even as I was reading that, I could feel my respect for John Favreau just go. But I'll say this for him. At least he hasn't been screaming on the internet. Like, if he just does this one tweet and then stops talking about politics, I can kind of forget about it. JEC, he's been lying about being senile for 4 years. Yeah, probably longer. Probably even when he was preparing his campaign. Here's Barbara Streisand. Old lady shakes fist at cloud. Joe Biden will go down in history as a man who accomplished significant achievements in his 4-year term. We should be grateful for his upholding of our democracy. Does she even live in the world? Does she even live in the world? I don't know how she could type this. Like, I couldn't get through half of this typing it in, even if I was paid to do it. Come on. You gotta be kidding me. Here's Cher, another old lady. In my heart, I'm tortured because I don't believe the Democrats can win the presidency with President Biden, Joe, whom I've loved since we met in 2008. I campaigned for him. I believe, and now she goes into caps. It's time to pass the baton. Time for Dems to think way outside the box. Maybe even split a ticket? What does that mean? JC, he's going to go down as a sad old man who had to quit because he was too old and senile and he could barely walk or talk. Yeah, that would be the nicest way you could put it. He will go down in history as one of the worst presidents ever. The amazing part about this is the moment Joe Biden dies and the moment Joe Biden's out of power, he will be gone. And they will, at some point when it's acceptable, start saying, oh yeah, that was Joe Biden. Yeah, that was Joe Biden. Oh, that was Joe Biden. Oh, Joe Biden did that. Oh yeah, he's terrible. Like, I remember the press that said Jimmy Carter was a good dude. Now, you can argue that as a person, he's a pretty good dude. He's very religious. He built houses for the poor after he got out of being president. But, you know, I didn't realize back then, because I was like 10 when he was president, that he wasn't actually very good at his job. And there was a lot of problems. And but unlike a lot of these guys, I don't think he had malicious intent. Like Biden, I believe, has malicious intent. Like, I don't think he knows what he's doing at all. I think he's perfectly fine passing the buck and listening to his globalist partners all over the world, you know, that kind of thing. But at least sort of like they didn't like Jimmy Carter's results, but they kind of liked him. LeMay is here. Nice guy, terrible president. Yes, Jimmy Carter. But Joe Biden? Joe Biden was nasty. There's so many clips of him just being nasty, a nasty, mean guy. In terms of politics and yelling at people. And he was a tall guy, and he was fit, and he was forceful. And when you're tall and fit and forceful, you can intimidate people. And I think he used that for a lot of years. But then when he got too old to do it, haha. Ardent. The president run by a poorly programmed teleprompter. Nice guy, not even a little bit. Yeah, Joe Biden. Sam Rogers. Now that they don't need to lie about him, get ready. Yeah, I wonder how long it's going to take. Ardent. Oh, Carter. Yeah, we're talking about Carter. But like Biden, I mean, when they throw him completely under the bus, when the media then decides, okay, we have to blame everything on Biden, oh my God, the stuff that will come out. Ardent, my bad. I don't remember Carter. One of my earliest memories is Reagan getting elected. Sam Rogers, do you know about his daughter's diary? Yes. Biden's daughter's diary is a legit thing. I don't know how much I could talk about it on the stream, but yeah, if that's true, now it's possible that what happened is that Ashley Biden remembers showering with her dad at an inappropriate age. But that is a false memory, possibly triggered by too much therapy or something else. And maybe it's a cover for something other awful thing that happened to her. Or maybe she's just misremembering it somehow. But if it's true, I mean, it seems like Joe Biden is kind of a messed up dude. When you look at the montage of him sniffing children, and that he had to be asked twice to stop doing it, and he still kind of does it. Yeah, it's very sus. Not that we'll ever get the real story on that front, but it's very, very sus in my opinion. So I don't think Joe Biden is a nice guy at all, and that these Hollywood knuckleheads are supporting him, I don't think has anything to do with any of that. They just think this is the I think most of them just think, well, this is the popular thing to do. I support Biden, so I need to do this. JC, he quit because they missed Trump and they told him he was next and they wouldn't need to be as dramatic about it with him. Ardent, and groping kids and other men's wives? Yeah. Mostly the kids, though. The groping of other men's wives, I don't think it was necessarily intent. I don't think that was groping, but the stuff with the kids is weird, man. You know. Ardent, well, they're Weinstein adjacent twisted. Word you wouldn't repeat. Weinstein adjacent. All right, and here's Phineas? Who's Phineas? I don't even know who that is. Oh, here's Mark Hamill. Talk about a major disappointment in my life is the TDS coming out from Mark Hamill. I mean, it is sheer, man. Joe Biden has a record of accomplishments unmatched, he says, by any president in our lifetime. He restored honesty, dignity, and integrity to the office after 4 years of lies, crime, scandal, and chaos. Thank you for your service, Mr. President. It is now our duty as... I can't even read the rest of this thing. Holy crap. Luke Skywalker, everybody. It's... Ardent. Mark, I've lost my goddamn mind. Hamill, everyone. Sam Rogers. Maybe his daughter will say something at a funeral. Oh, imagine that. Imagine the book that'll come out after he's dead. That would be something. The moment Joe Biden is dead, the moment the Clintons are dead, and or Joe Biden, the stuff that's going to come out will probably make your hair curl. But, you know, it'll be so late in the game, and we'll be on to the next a-holes who are screwing us. JEC, literally all of that, the opposite is true. Yeah, I've never seen anything like it, but I don't know. I guess Hamill's tapped into the regime, or he just believes it because he's so rich and isolated because of his money. I don't know. When you live in Southern California that long, I guess that's what happens to you? I don't know. Ardent, Mark Hamill and all these other Hollywood Twitter knobs make me long for the resurrection of Morton Downey Jr. Yeah. At least he was hilariously crazy. Kathy Griffith, let's make history finally. I don't know what you're talking about. Cheryl Lee Ralph. I don't know who that is. Oh, Abbott Elementary. Oh, President Biden endorsed Kamala Harris. Yeah, this is why they kind of have to go with Kamala. If they don't go with Kamala, someone like her is going to, I would think she'd be pissed. How could you pass over Kamala when obviously she's the next in line? I think if the Dems don't completely lose their minds, they'll nominate Kamala and just let her crash and burn and say, well, we tried. You know, everybody will complain, well, she didn't get enough money and support and blah, 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 and everybody in the Democrats are racist. They'll say, and for the first time, yes, it'll be true. Yes, they are. There are a lot of racists in your party. Well, it's about time you would acknowledge that. But we'll see what happens. Rosie O'Donnell just reposts the letter. Oh, wait. Thank you, Joe Biden. Let's go. Vote Harris. Energize. Yeah, a lot of people are... Oh, Rosie O'Donnell, everybody. Rosie O'Donnell is supporting Kamala Harris? Oh, my God. I guess I better get out there. Who's getting energized for this? I got to think the Biden-Harris ticket is so demoralized right now that you just lost your dude. Yvette Nicole Brown. Not sure who that is. That name sounds familiar. She says, be forewarned, if you pop in here with anything but let's go Team Harris, I'm blocking you on sight. If you need to show up, the need for us to show up, vote blue up and down the ballot has not changed. Only the name on the top of the ticket has. Good vibes only, let's go. Well, I wouldn't drop in there just to get banned, but, she's just, it's very tribal to me. Sam Rogers, when are they going to run Michelle Obama? She doesn't want to run. I don't think she wants to go through it. I mean, look, I think Michelle Obama should be mostly off limits. And too many people on the right say awful things about her. And I think it's, and then those same people will say, oh, how can you say that about Melania? Look about what you're saying about Michelle Obama. They keep calling her a man. They keep calling her, look, she has 2 kids. Unless they completely fake that, unless you believe that, conspiracy theory that she's really a man and they adopted the kids and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I don't believe it. So just leave her alone. She doesn't want to run. She doesn't want the scrutiny. If that's true, she definitely doesn't want to run because they'll definitely find out if she runs. So there's no way she's going to run. Whether the rumor is true, whether the crazy conspiracy theory is true, or whether it's not. Either you believe that she says she doesn't want to run, or, it's a crazy conspiracy theory. Yes, I've seen the doctored pictures and the not so doctored pictures, which are probably just wrinkles in her dress or whatever. Ardent, LOL, Rosie O'Donnell, Bill Maher for the most entertaining debates with Trump Vance. Yeah, the Bill Maher wouldn't touch politics with a 10-foot pole. And I'll tell you why. I think I've heard he's got some skeletons in the closet. Not major ones, but ones that would disqualify him from public office, let's say. That he's kind of a bit of a wild man behind the scenes, I've heard. And some of his one-liners would probably get him canceled. Comedians can't run for office. I mean, Zelensky did, but he's kind of not a president. He's more of a dictator being run by the CIA. So yeah, I don't think comedians can get in. Not a guy like Bill Maher, anyway. He said some pretty outrageous stuff back in the day. I mean, I guess if he really wanted to and he really turned on his comedy to make it happen, but... JEC, Democrats are just a bunch of washed up boomers? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the average Democrat now just seems to be either someone who's a boomer, who's super old, who has no business being in politics at this point because they're 80 plus, like Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, they got a lot of power and money, but everybody kind of hates them and wants them to retire. They should have retired 20 years ago, and they haven't bothered because they're just making too much money. And it's like, how much longer are you going to live, Nancy? What are you going to do with another $100 million when you're 90? Like, what do you even do with it? Like, I'm 58, and at this point, I don't want to do a lot. Like, I can't imagine wanting to, being in my 90s and then saying, well, am I going to go out tonight? Like, people in their 90s don't think about going out, ever. They're kind of like winding up to like, oh, in 2 months it'll be my birthday, and my relatives will come by and bring me a cake, and that'll be nice to see them, and then I'll see them again at Christmas or something like that. Sam Rogers, don't think Kamala will work out. The significance of time is significant. Ardent at Sam. LOL Big Mike, probably not till... Nope, won't even type that. Thank you. JEC, it's a funny meme and probably true. I don't think it's true, but look, I think she's not, as long as she's not running for office and is not in office, I think you should be, you shouldn't really go at her. She mostly stayed out of it. Once in a while she says something, but she's just the first lady. You should leave the first ladies alone. The only first lady who stepped into it hard was Hillary Clinton. And she did it before she ran for office. She was like co-president with Bill, kinda, or tried to be, and everybody hated her for it. And then she pulled back and she started doing first lady stuff. Sam Rogers, Democrats like to have a first. JC, where's the picture of Michelle pregnant? I don't know. We bullied her into not running. Possibly. They were probably some kind of feminine hygiene product or a penis. Yeah, I don't think so. But I mean, some women don't really show. There is that. Some women get pregnant and they don't really show that much. Or they're too embarrassed about being heavy and they never go out during their pregnancy until they go to the hospital. LeMay, did you see the gay music video parody of Zelensky? That wasn't a parody. Wasn't he in it? You mean the one where he plays the piano with his junk, or the other one where he's dancing around? I don't think it's a parody. I think he was actually in a music video, right? Or did they gay it up more? And I don't know. Sam Rogers, you're right. We shouldn't make fun of her. I mean, you can make fun of her, I guess, but to me, it's gone too far. She seems to be trying to step away from private life or step away from public life and go back to private life. And I'm fine. Let her fade into the Who needs her? I don't want her to run. She's popular enough she could win. And I don't think she has any experience, and I don't want her to be president. So, yeah, stay out of it, Michelle. Kite. Imagine being Jack Black right now. You burn the last of your reputation shilling maniacally for buying. You lose the crowd. Tour got canceled. You lost people, money, and now your candidate drops out. Yeah. That is bad. Not only that, Kyle Glass, his little buddy who posted an apology, took the apology down. So the apology went up, right? Oh, I'm super sorry for what I said about Trump. And then that didn't really work because people don't really believe he's sorry. And then he takes it down after a few days. Oh, this apology isn't helping my career? Delete. That's bad. If Kyle and Jack really wanted to apologize, in my view, what they should have done was a video. Because they are both super internet savvy. And they've done a million effing videos. So why not come out and say, this is Kyle and this is Jack. And listen, we got out of hand at one of our concerts and we said something we shouldn't have said. And we don't really mean harm to anybody, and we're really sorry. We got ahead of ourselves with this whole political thing, and it wasn't right, and we're sorry. Like a genuine apology, and then post that on the internet. Like, and just let people comment and ignore the comments because they were all going to be mostly bad. And at least you would have seen them apologize. If they were genuinely and sincere, you could tell by the way they apologized. Now, if they said stuff like, well, I'm really sorry people got upset, then you know they're really not sorry. But were they genuinely sorry? Well, now it doesn't look that way since Kyle deleted the apology. Maybe he wasn't really sorry. Maybe he's mad because, the tour got canceled. Kyle's only thing, as far as I know, was Tenacious D and Jack Black. So now that the tour's canceled, and Jack apparently canceled it, is what I read. Whether or not that's true or not, it may have been pressure from the venues. And there was a guy who did this long post about how the venues need insurance, and by causing this controversy, it would have jacked up the insurance and it would have made the tour impossible. So it may be they were forced to come out and cancel the tour, but it was probably Jack's decision because Jack has most of the money and fame. I'm sure Jack probably could have just said, oh no, I'll just give you the money for the insurance if he really wanted to continue the tour. I don't think he did because he didn't want the backlash, and his career is big. I mean, he has a huge career. Kyle's career is, as far as I could tell, only because of Jack. So it's like a sideline business that they both had together. So he shouldn't have said it. But I think if he had made a genuine apology, he would have been, he could have come back in a few years and it would have been all forgiven. But deleting the apology, that seems like a bad move to me. And that's what I read. Ardent, and you had to throw your best friend of the decades under a bus. Yeah, that doesn't look good either. And then the fact, Kite's right. The fact that Biden dropped out after Jack Black went to bat for him. So many people went to bat for Biden, and now he's dropped out. David Letterman announced he was doing a big fundraiser. How many times did Stephen Colbert and all these other Hollywood guys stand up and say, oh no, I support Biden? JC, that was a real video. No, they didn't make an apology video, did they? You mean the video where he said the thing that he got him in trouble for, right, about Trump. I'm talking about making a video to apologize. Ardent, yeah, hot tip, that was Zelensky. Oh, yeah, okay. You're talking about the Zelensky video. Sorry, JC. LeMay, I heard it was a parody video. He was in it. the high heel one. I think it was real, though. Kite, oh yeah, he removed the apology. All those people, all those posts from everyone wishing death. You can't have a civil society with them. He was never sorry. Remember, Trump supporters are the fascist ending people. Yeah, he just look. It's just if you're a celebrity, if I had a career like Jack Black or Kyle Gass, even or something even close to it, I would not talk politics publicly. Even if I become super famous tomorrow, one of the first things I'll do is completely back off of politics, because you got to be careful, because you don't want to alienate your audience. And I try not to alienate my audience, because my work has my work has mostly nothing to do with politics. I have some political stuff, like I have political satire. I am a comedy writer by trade. But you know, and I can get away with a certain amount, and you have to be knowledgeable to get away with any of it, and you have to be respectful of people. Like, I don't care about people who like Biden. I think they're misguided, but they can do what they want. It's America. I think finally people are waking up. I think they're grossly misinformed because they don't pay attention to things, but they're allowed to be grossly misinformed. I thought people were grossly misinformed when I was a Democrat, too. So you have to kind of be careful. Ardent. Oh, the Beyonce parody. Yeah, that was him. JC. Never found Jack Black funny. Too try hard. There's definitely a little bit of that. I don't know. Some of it I thought was okay. I liked him in School of Rock. I kind of like the spirit of Blackjack more than I like actual Jack Black. Alex Ogle is here. Hi, Alex. All this is going to force a major rewrite of my political drama with Sydney Sweeney as Tulsi Gabbard's VP to Tony D's Trump's president. Oh, wow. This is going to cause a major rewrite. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry, Alex. Yes, you're going to need a major rewrite. Sorry about that. But again, Sydney Sweeney. Maybe Sydney Sweeney could play Melania. Kite. Currently, the Twitter meme is that Biden is graduating a VTuber agency. And moving to another called VS Hojo and changing its name to V Joe Show. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I can't imagine Joe Biden as a VTuber. Wouldn't it be funny if Joe Biden he quits, or it's the moment he's out of the presidency, he starts a podcast and it just sounds completely different. Yeah, let me tell you what really goes on in Washington now that I'm out of it. That would be friggin' hilarious. Ardent, yep, you need to appeal to a broad audience as an artist. Kite, because the white-backed letter post is how VTuber graduations are done, Keck Twitter is a gold mine sometimes. LOL. I guess. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Ardent, Jack Black is a poor man's Chris Farley. Yeah, and I never really liked Chris Farley at all. Like, Chris Farley to me was try too hard. And then when I read how Chris Farley wanted to be like Belushi and they couldn't stop him, they kind of tried to stop him from doing drugs, apparently. There's a great article on the subject if you ever get a chance. If you're into the SNL lore like I am, you want to read an article called Comedy's Not Funny. And I think it was written by, I think it was in GQ, I want to say. It's a really interesting article because it chronicles the time that Bill Murray was hosting the show, and this was when Chris Farley was alive. And it was about how, like, Chris Farley really didn't get old Saturday Night Live. And Bill Murray was old Saturday Night Live, and Farley just kind of didn't get it. LeMay, Republicans buy sneakers too. Michael Jordan. Yeah. And Trump has some great sneakers. I wish I could buy Trump sneakers. I would love to get some Trump sneakers. Alex, We need an attack ad with a solid 30 seconds of Kamala Harris cackling. I think they already made it. I think they made one like that. They made one already. I think it's on Truth Social. I don't think it was cackling the entire time, but it was her saying that stupid line over and over again. Sam Rogers, you're asking Hollywood not to talk about politics, but the left understands that controlling entertainment means you can control people's views. You're asking Hollywood not to use the One Ring. Well, they always used it, but they were often very subtle about it, right? And that, in and of itself, was more artistic. So they would do these things, but it would be in the subtext, or it would be a metaphor for certain things, and it would be pretty subtle. And sometimes it would be really good, but sometimes it would backfire on them. So, for instance, Razor Fist does an interesting video about Hollywood, and Hollywood was always red, I think it's called. And he talks about in that video about how High Noon was written as sort of a commie allegory, but it was reinterpreted as a libertarian one. And so, but the writer's intent was something else, but it was reinterpreted by the American audience of its day. So it was kind of very interesting to me. So when you do things more in a more subtle way, it can be reinterpreted. So like one of the things that gets reinterpreted all the time is The Watchmen, as particularly Rorschach. So Alan Moore is one of the biggest commies on 2 feet, really, when it comes to politics. I'm not trying to diss him. I liked Alan Moore's work. But as a professor of mine always said, all great art is unconscious. And when Alan Moore created Rorschach, he thought he was creating a guy who essentially, I don't think he saw him as the villain, but he definitely did not see Rorschach as the hero. And what he thought was, people came up to him at cons and said, man, I'm a huge fan of you and Rorschach. And he would get freaked out because he did not see Rorschach as the good guy at all. He saw him as a twisted mess, or one of the many characters in The Watchmen, I guess. I forget who he saw as the hero of all that. But it turns out, I was one of those guys. I thought Rorschach was the hero the whole time. I thought he was amazing in it. So, Ardent. Chris Farley was the poor man's John Candy. That's pretty funny. Ardent at Alex Ogle. Evening. Alex Ogle. John Candy. As Magnum PEI. Stop. Put down those potatoes. Ardent. LOL. Alex at Artie. Evening. Sam Rogers. Going to have breakfast. Great stream. Goodbye. Thanks for coming in, Sam. Really appreciate it. Ardent. Later, Sam. Sorry, SR. Alex Ogle. What's for brekkie, Sam? Ardent. Rorschach was definitely an anti-hero, but he was a hero. And the last moment of the comic, to me, was like a big deal. Sam Rogers. There's a bakery in town that does good breakfast. Ooh. Yum. Oh, that was the other thing I did today. Since we were going to the shooting range, my girlfriend wanted to make me brunch. And so she made a ridiculous amount of food, which we then ended up, she couldn't make it before the shooting range, so we went there first, and then she made it afterwards. And we ended up being like almost late for my family's early Italian dinner, but we ate like brunch at like 2. So we ate 2 meals like right in a row. But it was awesome. So she made biscuits and gravy, but the biscuits weren't ready yet, and I had bought bagels on top of that. So I put biscuits and gravy on top of a fresh bagel. It was amazing. And she made potatoes, bacon, and then she made me a blueberry pancake with fresh blueberry syrup. Holy cow, that was crazy. I was full of food. But now I'm kind of getting hungry again. JC, Alan thought the guy who killed 5 million people was the hero. Oh, Ozymandias? He thought he was the hero? That's pretty messed up. Ardent, Ozymandias? Yeah, that scans. Hell, the comedian was less evil than Ozymandias. That's crazy. He thought Ozymandias was the hero? Oh, because even though he killed millions of people, he united the earth. Yeah, that doesn't sound like the hero to me either. Sounds to me like Rorschach was the hero. Sam Rogers, Rorschach died for the truth. The rest of the characters committed genocide for a lie. That's an excellent summation, Sam. Yeah. Yeah, I was all about Rorschach after I read it. I thought, oh man, he was great. He was so awesome. Even in the face of Armageddon, never compromise. Yeah, and then when I heard and like Razorfist slowly tore down my image of Alan Moore, and I just like, geez. JC, because he had an arch and accomplished his goal. Ardent, a communist thinking a mass murder was a hero. Sam Rogers, yes, they did create world peace. Now I'm going. Bye, Sam. Alex, Alan Moore was a bloody socialist. I don't think we need to worry about his morality. His art was what was flawed, not our interpretation of the story. Yeah, and then I wonder if people will say the same things about me. All right, let's continue with the celebrity cope. Here's Lizzo. We are truly living in unprecedented times. Now, Lizzo probably had a breakfast twice as big as the one I described. Here's Jamie Lee Curtis. Another one I kind of disappointed with her. I mean, I didn't think she was a Republican or anything, but... So here, Jamie Lee Curtis. I support wholeheartedly Joe Biden and his decision to step down and endorse unreservedly Kamala Harris. She is trusted and tested. With what? Tested with what? Trusted with what? She hasn't done a damn thing other than cackle like a maniac. She is trusted and tested, and she is the fierce advocate for women's rights and people of color, and her message is one of hope and unity for America at her time of great national divide. This doesn't even sound like a real person wrote it. It sounds like the Democrats wrote it. Are the Democrats controlling her Instagram feed? God. Ardent, okay, stop. I have died and gone to hell if people are taking political commentary from freaking Lizzo. Yeah, tell me. Tell me about it. It's crazy. I mean, all right, who's this? Oh, Spike Lee. Once again, a sister comes to the rescue. Well, look, that's very consistent for Spike. I'm not going to bash Spike because Spike was very nice to me. And, you know, he's all about his people. I can kind of respect that to a degree. So, at least he's consistent. I don't think he's particularly political. I think he's just excited a black person could be president again. Alex, Kamasa put black Americans in prison. That's what JLC trusts her for. Yeah. Yeah, so did Joe Biden. So I guess it's a Democratic, something you got to have on your resume as a Democrat. Oh, I see you put a lot of black people in prison. Why don't you come right in? Mark Ruffalo. Oh, boy. Okay, everybody. Now we have our marching orders. Listen to this language. Now we have our marching orders and time to hit the trail running. No. Ardent, I agree. I am an avowed pro-white person, so I understand where Lee is coming from. Okay, everybody, now we have our marching orders and time to hit the trail running. It's a weird way to word it, man. No to Trump Vance. No to the right-wing Christian religious takeover of our nation. I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing wrong with Christianity. Just shouldn't be running a nation birthed from freedom of religion. It shouldn't be anti-Christian either, Mark. And that's what it feels like a lot from the Democrats. Alex Ogle at Arden. Ha 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 ha. LeMay. She is not foundational black American and called herself Asian while she was running, surrounding herself with Indians. Yeah, I don't really know how to parse that, but I think bringing race into it is always a bad idea, because you could say, well, first off, we already had a black president who seemingly did nothing for racial tensions in the United States. Like literally nothing. And yet Trump is garnering so much more black support, and people in the black community seem really excited about him because he brings in the money, because he does things good for the country. So yeah, I don't get the logic. Kite, Christian religious takeover? Where does he know? Does he not know America was built on Christian values? Well, technically, the entire Western Hemisphere was, but it's like, I don't care that you don't want. Yeah, I don't want a Christian theocracy either, but they're not promoting that in any way. There's no way there's going to be a theocracy. There's just no way, unless the country falls apart just as bad as it turns into the opposite of BLM riots. It turns into some sort of weird Christian crusade. But that hasn't happened. It's not very unlikely to happen. There's not enough support for it, just like there's not enough support for commies. It's just more stuff to divide people and make them fight. So, this rhetoric makes no sense. It makes zero sense. It shows to me that Mark Ruffalo is completely out of touch with people on the right, that he doesn't talk to any of them. Because if he did, he would realize, oh, that's an incredibly small part of your community, and it may all be a psyop designed to destroy them and control them from a distance, or at least influence the overall field and pull the Overton window hard right instead of hard left. It's just not going to happen. So, just like they pulled the Overton window pretty left, but they can only pull it so far before you get this reaction. And everybody sort of stands up and says, oh, screw this. We're all going to put a bunch of Republicans in for 20 years. That's what's going to happen. I think the Democrats are going to lose seats they never thought they would ever lose. Alex Ogle. There is one thing you need to know about Kamala. She's Canadian. Oh, no. Like Justin Trudeau Canadian? Oh no. Ardent, yeah, because she's Indian and Native Caribbean. Ardent, that's not true, Tony. Obama did loads for racial tensions. They've been worse than ever since he was in office. Kite, that's not a takeover, but a removal of degeneracy and hate and a return to normalcy. Yeah. Part of the problem is, too, and this is more a problem in Europe than it really is here, because we're such a huge, country in terms of the space we have. But the problem is, when you flood the country with people from other cultures in such a short period of time, they don't integrate. So they bring their own values with them, and they don't change to our values. Or they change very little. Now, some do, but a lot of them don't. It depends on the situation. If you're from a foreign country and you move to another country and it's just you and maybe your family, you will tend to integrate. But if you move into a section of a city that's nothing but your people from your country, and there's 20,000 of you in this section of the city, and you stay there and you still eat the same foods and you still believe the same things, you won't and speak the same language, you won't integrate at all. So you can imagine, say, I don't know, in a country like, let's say China. If China was a more open country and they had an American district and Americans flooded in there and they got like 100,000 Americans just in this one section of Beijing, and it would turn into Little America, right? There'd be girls in bikinis and Hulk Hogan posters everywhere. It'd be super, super American. And, you know, people wouldn't speak Mandarin. They'd speak English because there'd be enough people to talk to. So it's the same sort of thing. It's just logic. So you can't have this many people come in all at once. They have to come in reserved amounts so they can integrate well with the society you already have. Oh my God, this is touched a nerve. Everybody's talking. Ardent theocracy, no. A return to normal, morally non-bankrupt society. Alex Ogle, the demon are desperate to have Big Daddy Trump rule over them and turn the USA into a Margaret Atwood reproductive state. They have no imagination and just want to be dominated. That's partly true too, especially for the very woke white women who seem to dominate the Democratic Party. There seems to be a lot of woke college girls who go down that path, and it's a bit disturbing because I used to find them very attractive. Ardent, Alex, that's even worse. Alex, Dems are fundamentally horrible people like the NDP or the Labour voters. Well, here's how I describe it. So I described this concept with Antifa, right? That at first, Antifa was a big trend and that a lot of people would get in on it just because it was a trend. But as it became tougher and tougher to be an Antifa, and some of them get arrested and some of them go to jail, more people quit Antifa because it gets harder just to be in it, and it's no longer a fun trend or fun club to be in. So the group starts to shrink. But as it shrinks, it starts to lose the smart people. I mean, a real smart person wouldn't get in it to begin with. And then the people you have left are just more ruthless, or they're screwed, or they just believe everything. And you end up with this core of idiots that are criminal and do horrible things because they can't see any other life outside of that world. There's similar things happening with the Democrats slowly. Like, as the boomers die, who's left? It's just going to be the people who are on the border of socialism or communism, straight up communist, that are going to be left. And as it shrinks, they're going to get more crazy and shrill. And as they get more crazy and shrill, more smart people are going to say, oh, I don't want to be part of this party. They're terrible. And they're just going to leave. Oh, I'm not giving these guys money. And the whole thing just collapses until you're left with, I don't know, the Democratic Socialists of America. And whoever's willing to throw them a few dollars. A lot of these people are going to rebrand into whatever the new party is. I think it's going to be the neoliberals and the neocons coming together to form a new party, whatever that is. And you're going to see a bunch of Republicans leave for it, the ones that are in troubled district mostly, and then, or the ones, you know, running against a MAGA guy, and they have a real chance of losing, and then some Democrat, ex-Democrat will come in there, run under the new label, while the Rhino wants to run under the new label too and split the vote and give it to somebody. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Ardent, immigrate and integrate. LOL. Yeah, that should be the rule. I mean, you don't have to, like, lose your entire culture. You just have to do the basics, you know? You have to understand what the laws are and what the culture's like. You know, for instance, there was an article recently, I forget, I think it was in America, although it might have been in Canada. But what happened was, somebody took a dump on the beach. And what they did was they just dug a hole and did it. And I forget what country it was in. But there was some American tourist who was absolutely horrified by this, as I would be, right? So if you were at the Jersey Shore and I was on the beach, I don't really go to the beach anymore, but I go to the boardwalk. But either way, if you suddenly dug a hole and decided to take a grumper right there in the hole, oh, I'd be like, Call the cops. So basic etiquette in America is, yeah, you don't take a dump on the beach in a hole. You use one of the many porta potties or public restrooms that are literally all over the boardwalk. Or you go inland off the beach to do your business and then come back. So those are just basic things you do. Now, if I was in your country where apparently that's okay, and I was like, hey, is there a bathroom around here? And they just go, oh, yeah, just dig a hole and help yourself. I'd be like, well, I'm from America. We don't really do that, but are you sure there's no bathroom around here? And I guess if I got desperate enough, I'd dig a hole and do it. But that would be in your country where it was somehow acceptable. Let's see. I lost my place. As harsh as it sounds, if you don't integrate, then you are an invader, says Kite. That's basically true. Ardent, too true. Alex. Kite, doesn't matter what country. Alex at Kite. Yurisuki, yes. Kite, if you moved to Italy, you'd be expected to speak Italian and learn customs. Japan, Japanese, and customs, and so on. So coming to the West and not integrating like that is naught but invasion. Yeah, and it's rude. Ardent, Antifa is at the heart of the anarchist terrorism cell structure. LeMay, you got your comment retracted for some reason. Or maybe you did that, I don't know. Alex, I think Disney's next Star Wars series will be the one with the galaxy with all the women in red cloaks and a team of trans Sith fighting against the Jedi by lightsabering all the pregnant people. That sounds about right, Alex. Alex, it was a beach in Canada and an Indian doing it. The filthy effer. We got to be really careful about what we say, Alex. I am not saying I'm just reading what's on the comment, YouTube. JEC. In Toronto, there's a lot of going on. It wasn't a tourist. It was a local woman who sees it every day. Oh, really? Ardent. And calling it healthcare, Alex. JEC. It's all, well, there are a lot of Indians I'm seeing in I don't know if I could read these comments, JEC. I might get flagged. Alex Ogle. Absolutely. Ardent. At Ardent. Ardent. LOL. Sultan's biggest video is one about the Ontario beach poopers. Oh, really? Ardent. Biggest YouTube vid anyway. LeMay. In France and Germany, you must learn the language to get a working visa. In Japan and Korean, companies must give the government a good reason as to why they need a foreigner for this job. Yeah, I mean, and a lot of countries who, in most countries that have a reasonable immigration, state, you can't just walk across the border. Some of them, they'll shoot you. Sam Rogers, in Australia, you have the freedom to walk around with no shoes, but it does depend on where you are. LeMay, I had a typo. That must have been some typo, LeMay. JC, I'm not using any slurs. I know, but I'm worried I'm not worried. Look, I'm not afraid to say it. I'm just afraid YouTube is going to flag me for saying it. I don't know. I don't know the rules at YouTube anymore. But apparently there are a lot of Indian immigrants coming into Canada. Ardent. And I'm disappointed by that JEC. Oh, he's making a joke. Alex at JEC. No, you aren't, but we have to be careful not to cause trouble for Tony's stream. Thank you, Alex. Sam Rogers. It's okay, JEC. I know you didn't mean anything by that. Sam Rogers. In some parks, in some streets, heroin needles have been showing up, so wearing no shoes is not an option. Oh, God. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't wear no shoes where that was even a chance. Kite. Heck, some countries you need to know the language to a decent fluency to be able to move there. Well, I would think that would be a smart thing to do. I wouldn't move to, I don't know, Portugal without knowing Portuguese, or at least a little bit of it. I would start learning it. Alex Ogle, YouTube has become depressingly Big Brother. Yeah, I think sometimes that I should just do these in Rumble, but soon I'll be kicked off by something. Don't worry. Who's this? Julia Louise Dreyfus. Okay, here she is. Thank you, President Biden, for your service and your extraordinary leadership, for your love of this country and all its people. Well, at least she was short. JC, they're trying to do with Indians what they're doing with people from South America and the U.S., basically. Oh, okay. Who is this? Robin Thede? I don't know who this is. Oh, she's from the Black Lady Sketch Show. Yeah, okay, Robin Thede is her name. I don't know who she is. Black Lady President and swipe for my endorsement for VP. Okay. I guess she's making a joke. Grey's Anatomy and Scandal creator Shonda Rhimes thanked the president for his service. Who cares? I don't really know. Oh, Billy Eichner. Oh, geez, this guy. Ardent. God it. I'm getting Canadian political ads now. Uh-oh. Is there a commercial popping up? I put it on the lowest possible commercials I could have. Here's Billy Eichner. Thank you, Joe Biden. Now let's unite, because Donald Trump is a psychopath and a danger to our country and the entire world. As a wise man once shouted, "Let's go, lesbians, let's go." Huh? What is he talking about? Billy Eichner's a weird duck, I would call him. J. Smith Cameron. Who is that? Succession and Hackstar. J. Smith Cameron, I guess. He retweeted a request that the media now turn their attention to Trump's mental health. To Trump's mental health. Oh, now we're going to hear, oh, why don't you get rid of Trump? He's too old. Good luck with that. Ardent, yeah, YouTube hates me specifically. Apparently. Okay. Finally, we're done with those. God, I never thought we'd be done. That was too much. That was too much politics. Ooh, here's a Blade update. Marvel's Blade reboot. Kevin Feige says the most important thing is not rushing it. After 2 years of trying to crack the movie, teases R rating. What is there to crack? Oy. Ardent star. What is there to crack, Kevin Feige? Bring back Wesley Snipes. Bring him back. I'm telling you, Wesley Snipes could still do it. 100%. I know he's no spring chicken, but he's not that old. He's still young enough to pull it off. They can put him in the makeup, put him in the armor. It would be effing huge. Effing huge if it was him. But they're not going to do it. They're going to go with a new guy. And I think they're going to make it super woke. It sounds like to me. It sounds like the first couple of tries with Mahershala Ali, where they were trying to like, okay, you're going to be completely emasculated, and then your daughter's going to take over. And she's going to be in charge. Like, that's what it sounded like. Because for them to even jam in female Blade was stupid. Like, JC, who cares at this point, Kevin? Yeah. The only way people would care about this movie if you did a return to form with Blade. And I know exactly how you could make it work and pass the torch. And it would be the original Blade. Because he is a vampire, he could be immortal. Alex Ogle, I can't go back to classic episodes of Seinfeld because Elaine is no longer hot to me because of who Dreyfus has turned into. Yeah, you know, I haven't watched this Seinfeld episode in a while. That might be true for me, too. Ardent, they gonna rename it Bleed? I get it. I get it. Here's what we do. Okay, so you bring back Wesley Snipes, and you have some big, crazy story where he kills 1 million vampires. You know, Blade. And at the end of the movie, there's some big fight between him and I don't know. Like, it should be Blade versus Dracula. That would be badass. So it's Blade versus Dracula, and then one of the big moments is there's some sort of giant pit of blood that Dracula is going to dive into, and I don't know, make himself immortal, or he's dying for some reason, and it's going to revive him. And then they fight, and Blade kills Dracula, but he accidentally falls into the pit, and it transforms him, and he becomes the new actor, right? They hire a new guy, like Mashashira Ali. And then Mashashira Ali steps out of the ooze, and then he takes over. You pass the torch, and now he's the new Blade, but it's the same Blade, and you can continue it just from there. And Wesley gets to go out on a high note, killing Dracula, and then you start with Mashashira Ali. Or, Dracula dies, but he doesn't really die, and now Dracula will be the main villain for Blade. I think that would totally rock. But of course, they're not going to do it. Ardent. By the way, Robin Williams would have been 73 today. Ah, come on. Come on, man. We're having a happy stream. He was a happy dude. Alex Ogle. Recast Blade with Jussie Smollett and call it Safety Scissors. Yes, and he doesn't fight the vampires. What he does is he accuses them of racism and then sues them in court. JC. Elaine was mid as hell and had terrible vibes. She's just as seemed hot because she was the only woman in the show besides the high school Jerry. The high schooler Jerry was dating that week. Ardent. Oh, hey. Has Cavill and Highlander been confirmed? XD Safety Scissors. I believe he has been confirmed. I don't know if they started shooting, but I think it was confirmed. JC. Have the villain be Frankenstein and he puts Blade's brain into a different body. You could do that too, I guess. I think the blood thing would work, though. But they're not going to do it. They're going to reboot everything. But maybe Wesley will show up in Secret Wars or something like that. The rumor is the Russo brothers are going to do Secret Wars. So that could be cool. That they're bringing the Russo brothers back. Let's see. A couple of headlines here. Former Marvel editor-in-chief Jim Shooter, the last great editor at Marvel, I would say. Blast the modern comic book industry. Nobody wants to read propaganda. Boom. Jim nails it. He nails it. He's a man. He understands. They would never put him in charge of Marvel Comics ever again. They should. They should absolutely bring him back, put him in charge, and let him do whatever the F he wants. But they'll never do that. They'll never, ever do that. But good for him. Always liked this guy. I met him back in the day, and he was really nice. I like him a lot because he's an idea guy like me. He's always talking about ideas. Oh, I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Oh, he was awesome. I met him during his Plasm days. And his ideas were crazy. I love the crazy energy he has. Ardent, which Secret Wars? The one that gave us the black Spidey suit, or the God Doom multiverse weirdness one? I don't know what they're gonna do, because the original storyline was gonna be Kang, and now Kang is out because Jonathan Majors is out, and now the rumor is the Russo brothers are in, and they're gonna do whatever the hell they want. Ardent, Shooter answered a fan letter of mine way back. I am not surprised. He's all about the fans. The man started in comics like when he was 13. He was the guy I wanted to be when I was in comics, and just couldn't make any headway. I tried like hell, but I had no idea what was to come, I had no idea everything was going woke. Ardent, if they succeed, if the second one, I hope they don't do Doctor Doom dirty. I don't know, man. The only way Doctor Doom works is that they have to introduce him in the Fantastic Four first and do a story like that. and then transition to the Secret Wars. I don't think they're going to do it in that order, so I don't know what they're going to do. I really don't. I mean, the only way the Secret Wars can work is with the Beyonder. Can they really do the Beyonder storyline without Doctor Doom and the other characters? I don't know. Alex Ogle, TV series pitch, Seinfeld, as much the same as before, possibly, but cast Sydney Sweeney as Elaine. I like it. I like it. It's a show about nothing and boobs. I like it. I like it a lot. Let me see a draft on Tuesday. MSNBC's Rachel Maddow blasts The Lord of the Rings as Aryan because J.D. Vance listed J.R.R. Tolkien as his favorite author. Ardent, they'll probably combine Secret Wars and House of M. Ew, I don't think that would be good, but you may be right. I don't know. Hopefully, well, I don't think this will happen, but the vibe I'm getting is Wolverine and Deadpool is going to solve a few of their problems. Probably not all of them, because I fully expect the next incarnation of the X-Men to be so woke it will be unrecognizable, that they'll literally lean right into one of the more current storylines. Not the current one, but the one right before this, which was like the wokest thing ever, where they take over Genosha and turn it into some weird communist utopia for mutants. I didn't read it, so I don't totally know what it was, but that's the vibe I got. Parody. Ardent. So, not the Baywatch with Sydney Sweeney? Well, we'll do that too. JC. Hell, drop Seinfeld. Drop her too. I don't need your I don't need your... I'll start my own casino with blackjack and hookers and Sydney Sweeney. Forget the blackjack and the hookers. Ardent. If they do the combo, I suggested they can kill off Wanda, so there's that. Like, that's a problem too. They shouldn't have killed off Wanda. They shouldn't have killed off Quicksilver. They shouldn't have killed off anybody that's not dead in the Marvel Comics. They don't know what they're doing. But, yeah, apparently if you like Tolkien and Lord of the Rings, now you're racist. Or Aryan, whatever that means. You know, the usual dog whistles for people on MSNBC now. I can't wait till one of my older relatives turns to me trying to be subtle and says, Tony, do you read Lord of the Rings? And I just go, why are you asking me that? What else happened this week? Oh, gosh. Assassin's Creed. I don't know if you've been following this drama. So the Japanese got wind that the Assassin's Creed that takes place in Japan stars a black guy, and there's been an online or a black character, I should say, but there's been this online, I don't know, conspiracy theory that black people started Japanese culture or something. It's this wacky theory, and it's been propagated partly by AI photographs and pictures, and so I think it's partly that, but mainly it's just pissed off the Japanese because they're kind of showcasing Japanese culture in the game, but they made the main character black. And he was like, it's based on a real guy, but the real guy wasn't a samurai. So I don't know why they're doing this, but the guys who are making this game really need to, I don't know, sit back, touch some grass, and maybe rethink their lives. Alex Ogle, tip for J.D. Vance. Get Maddow to accuse herself of racism by endorsing her directly. Twist, twist, double cross. Reverse psychology. Ardent, sorry, only just saw the headline. It's pretty obvious Rachel Maddow has no idea why Tolkien wrote the book the way he did. JC, we was Kang. Ardent, LOL, blacks created every culture except their own. It's just a weird, wacky meme that's going online. At JC and ninjas in Sheet. It's weird. It's very weird. I don't know why you would do this. Like, if you did this with an Italian character, I would be like, please don't include me. Please don't include me in your weird reimagining of history, Assassin's Creed. It doesn't make any sense. So. JC, JD Vance without the beard looks like Mark David Chapman. That doesn't bode well. I think I must have missed this headline. Ardent, oof. Pro-Ukraine activists try to cancel Warhammer 40,000? Space Marines 2 over Russian involvement as full video game leaks to internet. It's really a shame. I feel bad for the guys who play Warhammer because it's such an expensive game to play and they really invest a lot of money. And then to watch this game go woke must be heartbreaking for the guys who invested all their time and energy in it. Like, I don't know what you do other than ignore the women who are trying to invade your game. That would be my first thought. Just ignore them and refuse to let them play the game unless they play it the right way. But I'm sure there's a bunch of woke local conventions that are going to go, oh no, you can't do it. That's the rules. Ardent, LOL, Assassin's Creed, New Jersey. Ancient Africans created pasta and pizza. Yeah, it's just like, can you not just do Assassin's Creed the way it was meant to? First off, Assassin's Creed shouldn't be in Japan. It doesn't make any sense. It would be kind of cool if you had a Renaissance guy going to Japan from Italy, and he's a total Renaissance guy, but he's not a samurai, and he can't hide himself, so he has to completely sneak the entire time. Ardent, gatekeep. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. That's what I would do. But then I would get kicked out of the con, and I sure wouldn't get invited. That hasn't happened to me yet, but I don't do a tremendous amount of Comic Cons anymore, and I mainly stick to South Jersey, where people are still mostly sane. I mean, every once in a while I see a trans flag somewhere, or I see people in a mask, but people aren't super hardcore about that kind of woke crap here. No one's ever confronted me. I had one guy make a weird comment and walk away from my table, but that was about it. Ardent, Assassin's Creed Marco Polo would have been cool as hell. Oh yeah, that would have been cool. Like a guy from Marco Polo's crew is a secret assassin and he sneaks off the ship to do cool stuff. Alex Ogle, the only gatekeeping open to Warhammer 40k fans now is to go back to non-woke codices and refuse to upgrade. Yeah, that's what I would do. Indie Phantom's back. I'm back and the stream is still kicking. Yes. Welcome back, says Ardent. Yep, we're going through the trades. Let's see. Is there anything else? I totally missed the whole Warhammer thing. Oh, and then this was news this week. God, there's been so much news, and it's like you can barely process it all. So the boys had an episode called the Assassination Run. It was the season finale, and I guess they dropped the title because they got some backlash because of the Trump assassination attempt. And then this show has gone woke too, sadly, from what I understand. I haven't watched it since the first season. The first season was decent. The comic was crazy, but it's like you can't really understand the comic in a TV show, in my view, unless, like, people don't understand that the show was about parodying superheroes that existed in the comics, and then they just seem to follow the show. It doesn't really work as well as it did a comic, in my view. Indie Phantom, I need some dating tips. Uh-oh. How does a 50-plus dude best re-enter the dating pool? And that's another topic suggestion. Best dating flicks for non-wokesters. Thanks, Ardent. Okay. Well, as a guy in his 50s in the dating pool, well, mostly out now that I have a girlfriend. And I only say mostly because, I mean, it could end at any moment, knowing me. Not that I got one foot. I'm very happy right now, but I don't know. I screw things up, and I'm suddenly like, oh, oh, I've screwed this up. I'm very happy. So want to make that clear. Um, but if I had to give you a tip, the tip is for guys. I think it's mostly a numbers game. You know, you just got to grind through as many profiles as you can, and then hopefully stumble upon someone you're in your age range that will actually give you a chance and meet you for a cup of coffee or whatever. I mean, my formula for going out on these things was the first date isn't really a date. It's like a zero date. It's like a meeting where you go for coffee and it's totally, totally non-committal and you have zero expectations. You're just trying to see if the other person is crazy and there's any obvious red flags that you'd be like, oh, hell no. For both of you, really. And then you go and hopefully everything's cool and then you go on an actual date. And then hopefully you just take it from there. But getting that first date is very hard because I know that women in my age range, and I was actually just talking about this with my girlfriend today a little bit in the car ride, and she was saying, oh, I didn't really want to date, and I was really, wary about it, that kind of thing. And I can't blame her because, for the women, they get tons of offers. They're just fielding offers constantly, no matter what age you are. And then women who are older, they're fielding offers from like 20-year-old guys. And those 20-year-old guys are like, hey, I'm a stud, I'm going to give it to you, kind of thing. And some women are into that. And that's their option. If you're a single woman, I mean, there's no shortage of guys who will give it to you. But that's often very tiresome for most women too. They don't want guys who just give it to them. They want a relationship. And so they get a lot of weirdos and guys who are just looking at for sex or whatever. So it's they gotta, and then because they get so many offers, I was saying to my girlfriend, like, I would start talking to a girl online, and then next thing you know, she just stopped talking. And I don't know what I would say, but you never know what you're going to say because the bar for them becomes higher and higher because they're fielding so many offers. If you say one thing that's a little off in the initial conversation, they're just out because they got too many offers. They got like 10 guys that are saying the same damn things. And for some of them, you'll see it in their profile. They're like, I'm so sick of, this, and I'm so sick of that, because it's the same guy, same sort of guys, same sort of pitches over and over again. And you kind of can't blame them on the one hand, but on the other hand, what do they expect a real guy to do? We're not experts at dating, all of us, and the ones that are, you probably don't want to date because all they do is date women if you want an actual relationship. So, you're going to have to give a guy a little more leeway than just like, oh, I don't like your pickup line, so get lost. But, so what do? You just do the normal things. Dress nice. You don't act like an idiot. And, you make a nice profile and then hope some woman will take you out. And then you be honest. All right, I've missed a ton of chats. Sorry. Let me wind this back. Let's see. Gatekeep. No, we did that. Okay. Now I'm back where I'm at. Ardent. AC Marco Polo might have to switch to that current secret assassin being a Mongol and Polo's crew member being a Templar to stick to the continuity. Indie Phantom. Haven't seen any of the boys, but heard it falls off the rails into woke. Yeah, it was good the first season. I recommend the comic. Indie Phantom. Comic had full TNA, which looked nice. I like sexy comics. Alex Ogle. The Boys was great for Series 1, confused for 2, rubbish for 3, recovered slightly in 4, but hinted at bad things for 5. I will skip it all from now. I don't blame you because Kripke, the showrunner, is apparently got TDS bad. Indie Phantom. I dig the bachelor life, but would like an occasional date. LOL. Well, that's optional too. I mean, I think you just got to be honest with people. what you're into. You know, I always say when I go into a date, like, you know, I'm just dating and see where this goes, kind of thing. But you know, you gotta give a little to get a little too. So can't be totally cut off. You know, I mean, and some women want you to move forward much quicker. So I was dating a woman, and we got along pretty good, but she had some more expectations to me of me that I couldn't really meet. Let's say, you know, in a relationship department, she wanted things to move faster and things to move forward, and I was just like, "Whoa, slow down." And she kind of gave me some mixed messages, so it didn't work out in the end. But I mean, I don't have any negative feelings towards her. It just kind of didn't work out. We weren't on the same speed. I feel like my current girlfriend, we're definitely on the same speed. We're on the same wavelength. So it just takes. It's hard to find someone like that. Like for instance, well, I don't want to say too many personal things. I don't know. She might get mad. She's probably watching the stream. Ardent at Indie Phantom movie suggestion: What Dreams May Come, romantic, Blazing Saddles, comedic acid test, Blade Runner, conversation. As to tips, don't send D pics. Yeah, I wouldn't send that. Indie Phantom, good ones, Ardent. Alex Ogle, Dennis Villeneuve's Dunes films are good conversation pieces for dates. LeMay, any advice for cleaning up the rough draft of my first novel? I know most first books are bad. Well, for the grammar and the spelling and stuff, Grammarly's pretty good. But for the actual sort of story, read it aloud. Read it aloud and sort of get into it and read it. For me, I always picture my stuff a lot like a screenplay or a TV show, because that's where I started. I started more in screenplays before I really got into novel writings, although I did some early on before I got into screenplays, but I didn't really concentrate on that until later. So I find that reading and performing the lines really helps me with the flow of the story. So if I could suggest anything, it would be to read your draft aloud to yourself. And don't be embarrassed while doing it. There's nothing wrong with it. Once you start doing it, it'll be fine. Trust me. Do the characters, do the voices, do the intonation to yourself to see how the words feel, especially the dialogue. I'm really a big dialogue guy because as a screenwriter, you always are. And so a lot of my novels are very dialogue driven. Indie Phantom, I haven't dated in my age range like ever. Well, everybody has an age range. I mean, you know, I wouldn't date, currently I wouldn't date anybody in their 30s or lower, right? Because that's just too young. It's just too big of a gap, you know? Or if I did, I wouldn't consider that a serious relationship because it won't be, you know? You can't date someone 3 decades out of your age or 2 decades out of your age range and expect you to have any kind of real connection. And that's for like billionaires, right? Like if I became a billionaire and I was still single, I would be like, oh yeah, let me get some hot 22-year-old and go to town. But yeah, most people aren't. So you should date in your age range. I think you'll find like it's better mentally, so you have things to talk about. Alex Ogle, also Good Omens on Prime is charming. Ardent Party, LeMay at LeMay, find a proofreader. Hint, hint. I work cheap. Also, I find leaving a draft for a while is good. Get a fresh eye on it later. Yeah, I agree with that as well. Alex Ogle at LeMay, find a trusted reader to send an advance copy. I have an advance copy of Craig Cooper's latest, and he gave him feedback. He is undertaking a fairly large rewrite. Indie Phantom, is this Tinder dating? You don't have to use Tinder. Tinder's kind of like done. Everybody's on Tinder. The two that worked pretty well for me to find real women, as opposed to Tinder dating's more like, hey, let's get together and meet on Tinder kind of thing. Even though it's not supposed to be that, it was more of a hookup app when it started. It's not supposed to be that anymore, but it still kind of is. It still leans that way. So there's just too many people on it. I suggest Hinge, which is another dating app, and Bumble. Those were more laid back. They were more like real people, not not like eHarmony. eHarmony was like you're gonna get married. Like eHarmony is like, I need to get married. Where's my husband? And here, fill out all these forms. I didn't like eHarmony. Bumble and Hinge were like, it wasn't Tinder, but it wasn't sleazy like Tinder. I think Tinder's like a little bit sleazy, or at least it has that rep. But really, the best thing is to go out and meet people if you can do that. I'm bad at that, so the internet's good for me. But if you can meet people in, a setting, whether it's a bar, a restaurant, or whatever you do. I mean, go out and do stuff is another good way to meet people. Like join a league, like a pickleball league or a cornhole league, something like that. And, a place where you could just like hang out and there's a bunch of people there and you can get to know people. And then maybe you could meet people the old fashioned way and actually talk to them. But I've always been bad at that and I always avoided it, which is probably why I was single for so damn long. Where was I? JC, don't be an idiot. Damn it. I'm going to die alone. LeMay at Ardent at Alex Ogle. Thank you, guys. Stormy, woman's POV. Be clean and kind and yourself. Make her laugh and you got it. There you go. From the lady in the chat. Ardent, that's very true. She still laughs at me. JC, I put things I write into a voice emulator so I can hear it back out loud. Oh, interesting. Ardent, half your age plus 7 is the rule in... Oh, really? Half your age plus 7. So, let's see. That would be 29 plus 7 is 36. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I wouldn't go any lower than that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll look at some of the girls on Tinder. Holy cow. Yeah, once in a while when I was bored and I was habitually swiping Tinder and all these sites. Once in a while, when I was I'd get on a swiping tear, and eventually Tinder's like, you swipe too much, get lost. I would set the age down into the 20s just to look at the girls in the 20s. Holy crap. Some of them are smoke shows, but a lot of them are fake bots too, so you have to be careful. That's another thing on those dating sites. Be very careful of the bots. If she starts to talk in weird, like, I don't really understand English, and that's why my language is all off, and she asks you odd questions, she might be a bot. Alex Ogle, if you're test reading your books, remember to apologize to the librarian and put your trousers back on before you leave. Alex. Ardent, don't use Tinder. I used Plenty of Fish and hooked a good one. There you go. I don't know, Plenty of Fish was kind of not great for me, but it changes from time to time. Like Tinder was probably good in the beginning, and Plenty of Fish was probably good in the beginning. There were other ones that were good in the beginning, but like as they get older and they don't upgrade that much, there's kind of like too many people on it, and it gets harder and harder. You kind of want ones that, well, they burn through a lot of people, because as people find relationships, they move on and they leave the site. So, Ardent, but it was definitely a numbers game. Yep. Alex at Stormy, that's a terrible advice. I'm a complete bastard. I could never be myself. Indie Phantom, only app I used was Lava Life around 2004. I used that one too. Met a few good ones in the day. Yeah, I have been contently single for years. I really enjoyed Lava Life. I kind of missed it. The first thing I did when I was single again, I tried to go back to Lava Life and find my profile, but it's dead now, I think. I don't know if it's still around. But I met a great girl on Lava Life and dated her. She was from Canada. And She came here. I went up there. Indie Phantom. Feel like now I would have to ask a chick her political views on the coffee date, just to be honest. Yeah, I mean, you could, or you could just leave politics out of it. Unless she's super into politics, like she's gonna flag you and, that's gonna be it if you don't agree with her, then I wouldn't worry too much about it. I mean, politics shouldn't come between people, in my view. But Ardent at Alex Ogle. I had the same issue. Turns out the nice guys really do finish last. Stormy at Alex. Find a B. You will be fine. JEC. All women on the internet are fake bots. I'm on to you, Stormy. Ardent. It's true. Stormy is my alt account, says Ardent. Stormy. LOL. Funny. Beep boop. Beep. Wah. Alex. Ask her what her opinion is on The Boys Series 5 is. Ardent. Indie either leave political views aside or seek someone compatible. I mean, even someone compatible can be, let's say you're a Trump supporter. She could be so based that you're not based enough. But I don't know. I would leave politics out of it because it's not something that politics. And look, most women, more women lean left than lean right. More men lean right than lean left. That's just the way it works. Because women tend to be nurturing, and the people on the left tend to exploit that nurturing instinct. And, basically socialists and communists do that. Because, don't you want to take care of everybody and give everybody a house and money and jobs? And a lot of women fall down that trap and go, yeah, that's it. Why don't we do that? Because they don't understand, people who fall into that don't understand the complex world that we live in, basically. Whereas people on the right, well, they're willing to do the tough things you need to do to make a nice world or whatever. And, some people just can't process that. Indie Phantom, it's hard in Canada to find chicks that aren't libtards. I can imagine. But, there are libtards, and then there are people who are they consider themselves liberal until they have to pay their taxes or realize that, there is another way to do this? Ardent, I destroyed Stormy's norminess. Yeah, see? You could be a good influence on some liberal woman who doesn't really understand that, hey, you mean when the government gives away something for free, I'm paying for it? Stormy, yeah, he completely opened my eyes. Oh, that's nice. Well, there's a nice story there. Boy, we're at 10 already. I got to move this along. At Indie Phantom, you need to find a good Newfoundlander girl. Newfoundlander. Biden shocker leaves TV news channels scrambling. Ha. By the way, House of the Dragon doing very well. The ratings are very good. I haven't been watching it, but... Oh, here we go. We got another reaction. Robert De Niro, Clintons, and Obama react to Biden withdrawal. A patriot of the highest order. Oh, please let there be tweets. Oh, you don't have tweets? All right, I can't pick through this and find the tweets. You know who can is John Nolte over at Breitbart. He usually does this stuff. Let's see. Let me go to entertainment. Yeah, here we go. At Ardent at Indie Phantom, you need to find a good now. Oh, I read that one. Indie Phantom Ardent. I had a great girlfriend who went to U in Newfoundland. She was from NS. Alex Ogle. The only advice I listened to about women was spoken by Rudy Van Desario in The Mighty Boosh, where he says she's like all women, strange and evil. Stormy at Indie Phantom. You need a Newfie girl. Ardent. Ugh, Uni is just a woke factory. LeMay, LOL. Indie Phantom. De Niro. I love it. Yeah, let's see. Here we go. Oh man, Ben Stiller too. God, that's disappointing. I hate when comedians go down this rabbit hole. Okay, this is probably. Oh, this is David N. Not John Nolte, but I'm sure they'll have the quotes here. Okay, so we read Mark Hamill. Here's Deadline. This is Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro, ardent at Alex, so true. Robert De Niro, an outspoken critic of Donald Trump, reacted Sunday afternoon as news spread on Joe Biden's decision not to seek a second term. Excuse me. I can't do De Niro, can I? No. There is nothing more important for our country than defeating Donald Trump at the ballot box. With respect, admiration, and affection, thank you, Mr. President. Okay, that's Robert De Niro. Oh, George Takei. Oh, Mr. Sulu. This one I can do. Well, hold on. I might have to get another drink for this chat. I want to honor our President Joe Biden. Captain. 10 seconds, Captain. 9, 8. I want to honor our President Joe Biden. He has served our nation admirably for decades. He is a decent and honorable man, a huge successful president, and a patriot. Now, let us unite behind Kamala Harris and defeat Donald Trump in November. That was terrible, George Takei. I can't do it right now. Man, I'm raw from this stream. Indie Phantom, I heard Stiller is woke, and I was saddened too. Ardent, I want to know what Gary Busey thinks of Biden's withdrawal. I'll tell you, Gary Busey. And he says something totally insane. Ardent, LOL, I'd have to be drunk to do Takai's voice. Alex, okay, that's a good Takai. I've done better, but it was all right, I guess. John Cryer, we have 90 days. President Harris, let's do this. Ardent, needs more camp. Yes. Man, John Cryer, he's another one. I never thought he was this interested in politics, but man, he is. He tweets, he is super serious in every tweet he makes. I don't know how a guy like this, who basically is known for comedies and sitcoms, can go back to doing comedies and sitcoms when you're that serious. Like, if my comedy career had taken off, there is no way I would be on Twitter right now saying, you gotta vote for Biden. Even if I supported the dude, I'd be making jokes. Although I probably would have been canceled already, because I can actually make them. Yeah, here it is. Ben Stiller. Grateful for Joe Biden's service, selflessness, integrity, and putting countries first. Ugh. Indie Phantom, LOL, what a bunch of asinine cucks. Yeah. Barack Obama, Joe Biden has been one of America's most consequential presidents? Oh, come on. Well, he's going to say that. John Stewart says, legend. Well, I respect his brevity, if not his sentiment. Ardent, he's known for being the straight guy, ironically. Ardent. Who else? Cher. We already read Cher. Oh, Bette Midler. Oh, she's got to weigh in. Joe Biden is a true American patriot. He's been a fantastic president, and it hurts that the circumstances have been so unique and historic that he was obligated to drop out. He is the rarest of politicians, a decent man who lived by his values. Oh, come on. Come on, Bette Midler. You couldn't possibly... I can't believe she believes that. I just can't believe anybody would believe that. Come on. Like, even the people I know that defend Biden say, oh, they all suck. All the politicians suck. But Biden sucks less. Ardent, Dems for... Oh, I missed it. Ardent, tell me you got a $10,000 check from the Dems for tweet without telling me. Well, you know. 10,000. These people don't do anything for $10,000, I would say. I think it's more like, do you want to continue to work in Hollywood and be employed? Or they got something coming out and they know that the guys who pull the strings, the big guys who pull the strings in Hollywood, you got to pull them for them or you might as well not even exist. Ardent, he did live by his values: racism, self-interest, and ice cream. Indie Phantom, woke is a powerful drug, I guess. I don't think these people are woke. I think they're just in on it. You know, they feel that this is their job. This is how they get paid. You know, this is why they get movie deals and they get their agents and everything else. In my opinion, anyway. Alex Ogle at Indie Phantom, ignorance is strength. Sean Aston. Sean Aston, everybody. Uh-oh. Joe Biden is a true patriot. He has my respect and gratitude for a lifetime of service. I obviously understand and respect his decision not to run. Why do you understand that, Sean Aston? Why do you understand that? It's weird you understand that. Why? Why do you understand that? Very interesting. Our family prays for you and wishes you all good things as you finish your term and beyond. So let me get this straight. He's not fit enough to run, but he's okay to run the country for another 4 months. Indie Phantom, true, Alex. Ardent, yeah, I'd rather be following Kevin Sorbo, Dean Cain, and James Wood on Twitter. Oh, wait, I do. Yeah, I do too. James Wood's the best. He's got everything on his Twitter. Patton Oswald, I'm ready, Kamala. People loved Ratatouille in the swing states? I don't get that. Is he making a joke? He's saying that because he was in Ratatouille, he was one of the voices, that they'll vote for you because Patton Oswalt? I don't think he had that much sway, dude. I was going to say swag. He definitely doesn't have swag in my view. Indie Phantom, I think he meant Joe Biden is a true idiot. That's crazy. All right, and then here's Alyssa Milano, who very left. Hashtag all in for at Kamala Harris. It's a weird hashtag, but sure. I don't think hashtags really work anymore. I've done quite a few, and I think they kind of died. Hashtag unite. Who are these people uniting? Who's left? That's what I would like to ask. College students? Ardent, yes, those children really remember who you are, Patton. Yeah, I don't get that at all. Yeah, like kids in the swing states. Oh, I was gonna vote for Trump, but instead of cheap gas, I would like to vote for the guy who did the voice of a cartoon rat, because his advice is solid with me, bro. Whoa, what did he say? Oh, vote for Kamala Harris? Oh, okay, I guess we better do that. Indie Phantom, I would still do Alyssa Milano. She is my age range. LOL. Ardent, hashtag N-word trended pretty friggin' hard. LeMay, I don't know most of these people. I don't know if you want to know most of these people. Wendell Pierce, I don't even know who that is. Oh, wait, I do. Hold up. He was in Homicide. Yes. He played one of the cops on Homicide. President Biden's historic decision today was I was shocked this guy was such a hardcore Biden supporter, quite frankly. Biden's historic decision today was a selfless, patriotic act. He didn't go easily, and I bet they gave him something for it. My impression is he didn't go easily. He went because they gave him little to no choice, is my vibe. He deferred to what he decided was best for the party and his country. I don't think he did. He saved his nation 4 years ago. He did not. In the middle of a pandemic, an economic crisis, and a constitutional crisis after an insurrection. This guy believes the insurrection host. Jesus. Ardent. Yeah, Milano is unfortunately still a good-looking woman. My age range too, couple of years older, if I recall correctly. I don't think I could... Nah, too shrill for me. I don't know who this is. Michael Kelly. I don't remember who he is. I'm going to skip him. Bradley Whitford. Josh Shapiro. Mark Kelly. Okay. Not sure what he's saying. Ardent, too bad she's crazy. I can't F away. Oh, too bad that she's a crazy I can't F away. Indy Phantom, Biden refused to go and then vanished with COVID and someone wrote a letter for him. Probably. Alex Ogle, why when looking up Milano do they also get a picture of Sharon Doherty? I don't know. Well, she just died. Maybe she has like a tribute. Sophia Bush, I'm not sure who that is. And that's it. So it didn't end very strong on that list of celebrities. All right. Cher roasted for saying Biden must pass the baton after he dropped out. Girl, check the news. Bill Maher, we don't need in-depth investigation to know the Secret Service head should be fired. See, once in a while he says base stuff, my ex-boss. Ardent, isn't Sophia Bush an actress? I assume, but I never heard of her. Indy Phantom, Shannon D was in the same series with her hottie in the day. Oh, right, they were both in Charmed. I forgot. 89-year-old comedian recovering after being randomly punched on New York City street. Not good. Yeah, here it is over here. David Letterman was to headline a Biden fundraiser on July 29th. It'll be interesting to see if he does that for Kamala or if he just cancels it. Wouldn't it be funny if he just goes, oh, no, I was doing it for Biden. Ardent, I wonder if Bill is getting past his TDS. It doesn't appear to be. Every time he says something like this, I think, oh, maybe he's done with all this. Nope. And then he very much will not vote for Trump. But, you know, he's entitled to his opinion, whatever. All right, I'm going to skip over to Deadline. Ardent, them and Rose McGowan, who was also a smoke show in the day. Yeah. Rose McGowan, I'm very surprised Rose McGowan doesn't either run for office or, you know, do some other more political thing. She seemed like she had the tenacity for it. And I'm really surprised she hasn't. I don't think she sued Harvey Weinstein, but maybe she doesn't have a leg to stand on with his NDAs. So I don't know. Trump gives insult-filled reaction to exit. Cool. All right. Let's see what Trump said. I'm going to go to Truth Social. I'm sure it's at the top of his feed. Get out of here. All right, here we go. No, I don't say it. 4 hours ago, he said, so we are forced to spend time and money on fighting crooked Joe Biden. Oh, yeah, maybe this is it. He polls so badly after having a terrible debate and quits the race. Now we have to start all over again. Shouldn't the Republican Party be reimbursed for fraud in that everybody around Joe, including his doctors and the fake news media, knew he was not capable of running or being president? Just asking. I don't know about that, but I think Joe should just, at this point, it's too late to pull him out. But whatever. If he can't run for president, he shouldn't be running a country. In fact, I'd rather him run for president than run the country. Like, drop it off to Kamala and then go run for president. Because at least you're doing one thing and not 900 of them. Ardent. Them and Rose McGowan, who was also a smoke show in the day. LOL, Rose McGowan running for office would be the definition of an S show. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if she has skeletons in the closet. Maybe she does. But I don't think Trump said anything too out of line. Will there be another POTUS debate? Trump suggests Fox News should host. Yeah, the upside for Trump, besides the fact it'll be Kamala or whoever, the next debate probably won't be all just, set for the Dem. It'll have to be more open. Top Hollywood donors already writing checks for Kamala Harris after Joe Biden's exit. Oh my gosh, I can't write a check fast enough. Oh, here we go. Here, have some more of my money. Indy Phantom. Rose McGowan was fine with banging Henry Harvey until she realized that she wasn't getting any work anymore. Same with most of the Me Too movement. I don't know, man. It sounds bad. And the stuff, it sounds like, I don't know. She had real evidence on him, I thought. Didn't she have a recording of some of the really nasty things he said or did? Alex Ogle. The next president debate should be hosted by Razor Fist. Oh boy, that would be awesome. All right. T-Money to you. He calls him T-Money. All right. Twister director explains why polarizing kiss scene was cut from ending. Huh? What, So they didn't have a kiss at the end of the movie? Well, that seems not polarizing. It seems like that's what would happen in a romantic, I don't know, it's not really a comedy, but whatever kind of movie it is. Storm Chaser movie. But, okay. Didn't seem controversial at all. Let's see. Hunter Biden ends Fox News suit over mock trial series. Could refile later. Uh-huh. All right. Oh, Aaron Sorkin endorses Kamala Harris after suggesting Mitt Romney. I take it all back? Huh? Mitt Romney? Why would you suggest Mitt Romney? I mean, are you that much of an establishment guy that you realize, oh yeah, you know, guys like Mitt Romney and Kamala Harris, there's barely any daylight between them. Well, let's renominate George W. Bush. I mean, Jesus, dude. Mitt Romney. You want Mitt Romney to run for president. I take it all back. Oh, well, good luck with that. I mean, that's just embarrassing in my view. Jerry Miller dies. Moby Grape co-founder voted for one of rock guitarist greats, dead at 81. Oh, no. Indy Phantom. Rose was the very definition of hot and crazy. She was a serial dater and a long string of bad boys, including Marilyn Manson. Ardent. LOL at Alex Ogle. I'd prefer Styx. And Joe Rogan. Or Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan would be, I think, probably the best. I don't think Styx would do it. I don't think he'd go through the process that would allow him to do it. I think Joe Rogan could. And Joe Rogan would have so many people watching, it would break the internet. It would be hundreds of millions of people watching it. I mean, he already has 100 million people watching his show. It would be, the entire country would watch if Joe Rogan did the debates. Let's see. All right. Moving on to, what else I gotta do? Oh, wait. Let's, I guess I'll go to bounding. See if there's anything here. Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige says some Phase 4 heroes will be cut from the next 2 Avenger films. Choices have to be made, that's for sure. Yeah. Yeah, how about the Shang-Chi? I'd cut him. Alex Ogle, movie pitch Twister 3. Sydney Sweeney plays the game Twister on a rainy and muddy field. Ooh, I'm liking your reboot. Yeah, let's get a draft of that by Monday. Indy Phantom, Razor Fist is so damn much fun, but I do enjoy Styx. Oh yeah, they're both great. LeMay, I think Styx would start in local government first. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, and that Assassin's Creed game, not only does it have a black character as the main character in Samurai Japan, but they also have a same-sex option for romance. So, look forward to that, I guess. I I don't want to get into the Alkalite because it's so dark and deep. But long story short, the Alkalite season finale happened, and like Leslie Headland is left basically begging people to tell their friends to watch the show, so there might be a season 2. Like, that's where she's at, essentially. And then comparing it to things like Cowboy Bebop and The Matrix, unironically trying to get people to watch this thing. And literally every critic I watch hated the Alkalite with such a burning passion, they felt damaged by the experience. And every clip I've seen has been dumber than the next. So, Indie Phantom. Kamala was chosen because she was dumb enough to make Joe look good. That's what I think. Ardent. Long story short, the Alkalite sucks. Yeah, apparently. And here's the big news. I felt this was big media news this week. That, for me, it was anyway. Indie Phantom. I was distracted by the political stuff, so I have to catch up on the vids about the Alkalite. Oh my God. It's unwatchable. Unwatchable, it sounds like to me. Here is something that is unwatchable, apparently. The Toxic Avenger remake with Peter Dinklage can't find a distributor and has been deemed unreleasable in its current form, apparently. Which is crazy, considering that this is a movie that was originally made by Troma. And Troma had a reputation for making movies basically with, like, nothing. Like, they would literally say to the actors, we can only do this in one take, so memorize your lines as best you can, and we're going to shoot this thing. And literally, in some of the movies, you can hear people stammering and making mistakes, and they didn't reshoot it, because I guess they didn't have the money or whatever. And, you know, and, like, a lot of the people in the movie, in my view, aren't even actors in the Troma movies. But the joke for Toxic Avenger was they shot this movie, and then they went back, the Toxic Avenger movie, the original one, and then I guess they went back and they redubbed his voice, and I think that was an aesthetic choice after the fact, or possibly because the sound was bad, I don't know. But then they got a guy to do a voice that was like super, super deep and cool, as opposed to the guy he originally was. He falls in toxic waste and becomes the Toxic Avenger. But when he's the Toxic Avenger, he has this cool, deep voice that is so crazily off the mark. It doesn't sound like it should be coming out of him. And that's what makes them, to me, that's what makes the movie funny. And I laugh through the whole movie every time the Toxic Avenger opens his mouth. But now they make a remake of it with Peter Dinklage, which is already, to me, a dumb idea, because the movie you can't capture that sort of spontaneity that I think the original movie had. But they try to do it anyway. And, I mean, I've seen clips of it. It didn't look very good. It didn't look funny. Like, this would have to be the funniest movie ever made for it to work. And did they hire a single comedian to write it or be in it? I don't think so. Ardent, Dear Gods, the Toxic Avenger with Dinklage. Yeah, and Dinklage is the Toxic Avenger. Alex Ogle. The only thing that would be funny would be, like, if Dinklage was in the movie and then he transforms to a normal height guy, but then it's still his voice, maybe? That could be kind of funny. Alex Ogle. I gave up on Star Wars after The Last Jedi, but I did watch the third film during a flight to Asia. I fell asleep. Ardent at Alex Ogle. There is no Star Wars after Attack of the Clones. Indie Phantom. The Toxic Avenger remake has been advertised for over a year, still not released. Ardent. Unless you count Tartakovsky's Clone Wars, Mrs. Freeze is a lesbian? Yes. Yeah, that I wasn't going to even bother with this one, but Rocksteady, they're still releasing characters for Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, and that company apparently went so woke they turned Mr. Freeze they gender swapped him and then turned him into a lesbian because woke. I mean, you want to talk about a slap in the face to everybody who's even mildly interested in something like this. It's like, why even bother? Why even bother to do it? Like, you're so obsessed with your gender, your pronouns, all this other crap. It's like, what are you doing? Like, if you're so obsessed with this, go make another game. Go make a completely different game for this. Like, who in the meetings with the WB would be like, ooh, this is a great idea. Like, those people should be fired and never brought back into show business, video games, comics, any of that stuff. Because they obviously have no idea how it works. Fans hate change. They would have the same reaction if you took a character like Mr. Freeze and said, ooh, what if he shot mustard out of his guns instead of freezing rays? And he turned people into mustard. They would have the same reaction. No, this isn't the character. Ardent. Oh, it's worse than I thought. I figured it was his wife. Well, it was nice having faith in humanity for a minute there. Yeah, the woke leave no faith for humanity. That's part of their mission. All right, let's see. We got to do Cosmic, but first I'll drop into the wrap, but I don't expect to stay here. Kamala Harris says she intends to earn and win this nomination after Biden drops out of the race. So it's not definite yet. She's got to earn it on top of the other guys. Good luck. That's not going to damage the party some more, is it? Oh, yeah. I think this is going to be hugely damaging. Or they're going to stage at a competition where she wins. Ardent, magical mustard that turns men into hot dogs. Alex Ogle, new superhero, a chap with a gun that shoots mustard. He saves many a hot dog at ball games. Ardent Lamau. I call him, no, he's a villain, and I call him Mean Mr. Mustard. There you go. Let's see. Anything else worth talking about here? Not really. Kamala Harris inevitably draws HBO Veep comparisons. So that was the Julia Louis-Dreyfus show where she was the vice president. And I guess she became president in the show. I didn't really watch it. It looked okay. All right, let's go to Cosmic Book News and wrap this up because, oh man, we're at 10:30. Kevin Feige confirms Richard Rider Nova TV series for MCU. Well, if you don't woke it up, this could be very popular amongst a certain crowd. I was never a huge Nova fan, but lots of people are. So you could, excuse me, you could make a little bit of a comeback with the MCU if you did this series right. Built it up and then spin it into a movie. Maybe spin it into the new Warriors movie or something like that. Will they? No confidence. No, I don't think so. Kumail Nanjiani claimed to be James Gunn's Booster Gold. I don't know if he claimed it, but there was a rumor online. I don't think it's true. Sounds like it's not. But that was going around last couple of weeks. James Gunn filming Superman in Cincinnati. Possible Justice League headquarters. I'm really sick of hearing Superman updates. I wish he'd just make the movie and stop talking about it. I really do. It's too much information coming out about the Superman movie. I think it's overloading me. It makes me feel like I don't want to see the movie. This happened with a movie called Sliver back in late 80s, I guess it was. Because the rumor was Sharon Stone was going to be naked again. Sharon Stone was a total smoke show in the 80s, by the way. Oh my God, she was hot. Indie Phantom, Jesus, they're even remaking Backdraft now. So this movie called Sliver was coming out, and it was supposed to be another movie where Sharon Stone was going to be naked or near naked. And I kind of wanted to see it initially when the commercials came out, but it was on TV so much I eventually said, you know what? I'm not seeing this movie. You've advertised it too much. And that's what I feel like I'm reaching the point with Superman. I kind of want to see the Superman movie, but I also kind of don't want to be advertised to every day of my life on it. Like, there's some days where I don't want to think about Superman. I mean, I get it. I go over the trades all the time, but my God, it's in almost every day there's another Superman update. Can we have a day where we, maybe a day of mystery where we don't know if the Superman movie is being filmed or not? Just go film the movie. I feel like I'm going to see every scene in the movie before it comes out. Ardent, you missed nothing of value. Sliver was mediocre. Yeah, I know, but still, it just annoyed me, the advertising thing. Peacemaker Season 2 follows events from Superman. I can't watch Peacemaker because I have a real problem with John Cena and his weird apology to China. So he just went off my list, and that was it, man. I can't watch his stuff. I refuse to watch anything he does. And quite frankly, other than that time he was in the Suicide Squad, when he played Peacemaker, I've not seen him in anything good. Now, this is him. James Gunn's not directing him, but it's a character he's sort of good at, I guess. But I don't know. It felt like a character for the Suicide Squad, not a guy we would spin off into his own show. Just saying. Indie Phantom, John Cena is a no-no for me, too. Yeah, I just can't take it. And then here's this. Minecraft movie leaks. First look at Jack Black as Steve. Like, why is there a Minecraft movie at all? All right, let's see. There's Minecraft, okay. Where is so this is Steve. So that's it. Looks like Minecraft. Marshall Beckrich is here. Hello, Marshall. Welcome to the stream. I'm just about to wrap up, but thanks for coming in. You got about 3 hours of video to watch when I'm done. They're recasting Sharon Stone in Fatal Attraction with John Cena because of woke. He will show his butthole. That's not true, because Glenn Close was in Fatal Attraction, not Sharon Stone. But nice try. You tried to trick me, Marshall. I'm wise to you. Indie Phantom, why is Jack Black in a Minecraft movie? LeMay, why? Yeah, that's more my question. Why this movie at all? Who the hell wants to see a Minecraft movie other than people who play Minecraft too much? And what kind of movie will it be? Will I be following a guy playing Minecraft, essentially? That doesn't seem like a very good movie. Alex Olga, I would have thought John Cena would be better to play a Minecraft character. I don't know. Like, Jack Black may have hurt his career with this whole controversy at his concert. And this to me is like a big problem. Now, he was the first to sort of like cut the cord. At least that's what's being projected outwardly. But I don't know, man. I don't know. So, Arnett, LOL, the creeper. Yeah, I don't get why they're doing this as a movie. Okay, it's 20 of 11, so I got to wrap this up. I got to do a bunch of other videos. I've been in this office so long now that the office has heated up. I got to open the door and get some air conditioning in here. So final thoughts. What did we learn today? Well, we learned Joe Biden is no longer the president. Kamala Harris is apparently running for the position of the Democratic nominee, but doesn't quite have it yet. Although she probably should, and they probably shouldn't waste too much time on choosing her because there's literally days left. But the convention is happening. I forget when. LeMay, good night all. Ardent, next, a goat simulator movie. Indie Phantom, good stream. Take care all. To you too, Indie Phantom. Ardent, later. So good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We learned about Joe Biden. We learned about Kamala Harris. We did the box office. Box office was decent. We learned some controversial things about Twister. Not really sure what that's about. Indie Phantom, we learned Biden is not the president weeks before Joe will learn it. Alex Ogle, we learned that old TV series with actors that have strange opinions can be saved by casting Sydney Sweeney in their roles. Absolutely. Absolutely. That Sydney Sweeney should be cast in everything. And possibly Donna D'Errico. Let's not forget Donna D'Errico and her boobs. We should never forget Donna D'Errico's boobs. They are spectacular. And yeah, so that's about it. Little Joan was very good on this stream. You were very good, Joan. Didn't hear a peep out of you. And you were home all day. Good for you, Little Joan. Gonna have to take care of Little Joan. Ardent, see you next week. Same DiGerolamo time. Same DiGerolamo channel. All right. And on that note, I am going to end the stream. Good ending, Ardent. Thank you all, and we'll see you in the next one. And done.